just us monsters. Lucky for Banner I showed up, because he'd be a smoldering pile of ashes by now.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted links to the stories we're about to cover today. So, I'm doing a sort of putting some older videos together that I have already done. I've edited them as best as I could and put them together here. So we are going to be looking at Incredible Hulk 340 through 346, which ends the Todd McFarlane run on Incredible Hulk. This here is Incredible Hulk number 340, and you can see the new logo is in effect here. And of course we have this iconic cover by Todd McFarlane with Bob Wyacek here. McFarlane does ink himself on the inside, so this is quite the iconic cover. This is such an iconic cover. So iconic, so good. Todd McFarlane, this is the best Hulk looks. I love the Hulk, the way he draws it. So Peter David is the writer. We are going to try to cover the entirety of Peter David's run. Todd McFarlane doesn't last too many more issues. I think he bows out at in about 6 issues or so. So unfortunately, he dedicates himself full-time to Spider-Man and then leaves for Image. But he did make an everlasting change, in my opinion. This is the best looking Hulk. He just looks so menacing and so cool. So that you know chronologically where this falls, because of course you have Wolverine. This falls at the same time as Fall of the Mutants story going on in Uncanny X-Men. And you'll see why in just a moment here. So, all right. So, we've got here Betty Banner with a snow globe here. I spent my entire life vacillating between doing what I should do and what I want to do, between duty and desire. And yet, no matter which way I've gone, I can't help but feel the same as a swirling dome in my hand, going around and round and ultimately getting nowhere. I can't help but wonder if it feels the same, and despite my resolution not to, I wonder where he is. And so, we get this great, absolutely great panel here. The way McFarlane does lights, I copy this when I do light as well, with a circle traversing another circle. I do a lot of stuff that I've taken from McFarlane. I do not draw like him, but there are certain tics that I have taken from him here. You know, I don't know where we are, but I'm starting to think we're going in circles. No bloody kidding, Rick. We took a wrong exit somewhere. We're near Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, but other than that, I'm not sure. So, yeah, well, there's something I'm sure of, Quartermain. I want out. And Rick Jones is like thinking, this weird intense weather blotting out every trace of moonlight is making the Hulk even nastier than usual. If somebody provokes him when he's like this, and then Rick says, Hulk, maybe that's not such a hot idea. And Hulk says, I said I want out. Look at all this hatching McFarlane does. Goodness gracious. Hatching. He's still, of course, this is his second time he's inked himself, Batman year 2, the fourth part was the first time he ever inked himself. I have covered that. Feel free to look it up. In my Batman playlist, I have Batman Year 2. I've also in the McFarlane playlist just have the issues he did. So, all right. Quartermain says, maybe a breath of fresh air would do us some good. And he hits the button and lets Hulk out. And Rick says, Clay, what if he takes off and doesn't come back? And Clay responds, what if we try to stop him and he kills us? And so Hulk jumps out and he says, good point. Great. I love, so this is what I like. I like that he, in the early McFarlane, he just does barely any ink line. He just dedicates himself to the ticks. This here is my desktop of my computer here. And you can see here this, you can find this image on Google. And the later McFarlane does a little bit of more where he does the ticks on the Hulk himself. You can see here that his skin, he doesn't do a lot of the inking. He still does a lot of the ticks. But on the pants, he starts to add a little bit more blacks. So I really like that compared to how he just kind of does the whole ticks everywhere. Now, this is still earlier, and he does an even bigger brow now. So that will eventually come where you can see a complete distinction between the skin. So the pants will probably be rendered a little bit more with blacks, and then the Hulk is kind of just left like this. So one of the things McFarlane had said is he wanted to make the Hulk have like a rhinoceros skin. So, all right. So we got in the control tower. That there is an unidentified aircraft. Of course, it is the X-Men Blackbird. They are, of course, heading into the, as I said, Follow the Mutants in Dallas. So, of course, we got Rogue, who has the same hairstyle as Wolverine. We got Psylocke, we got Dazzler, we got Havoc, and we got a long shot. The reason there's no Storm is they are heading to New York to go get her. Again, McFarlane is not spotting a lot of blacks on certain things. That will come later. This is still early in McFarlane's inking prowess. You can see on Storm, on Rogue, he does do the blacks. But not quite. Like you can see on Wolverine, it just not putting them there. So, but love the hair. Oh, so all right. So we're basically going to talk about some of the stuff that's going on in X-Men. We're just kind of gonna go with it because I am covering X-Men, but I am very early in Chris Claremont's run. I'm still doing Dave Cockrum's first run on X-Men, so we're still a long ways. But basically, Follow the Mutants, look it up, and you'll see everything that's going on. And no, McFarlane did not draw Longshot incorrectly. He really does have 3 fingers and a thumb. So this is correct. So when you look at Longshot here, this is what he looks like. There's something apparently going their way, and of course it's Hulk, who can't see because of that snow. So, and Hulk is like, what the heck did I just miss? Because he can't see either. So, of course, he ends up hitting an actual airplane. And so, they make it so that he explodes the wing, the turbine, but not the wing. Without the wing, this thing would have you'd have casualties because this thing would have just plunged without it. But all right, so they call in a Mayday. Um, from this airplane calling I love it, Pan Am, who has since gone bankrupt, and Wolverine, like I said, they're picking up the Mayday. Um, and Rogue says, "I see it, Wolverine. Looks like a shooting star." And Wolverine says, "Get out there, kid. Rip the engine off the wing and help the plane to the ground. We'll follow." "But Wolby, if I toss the engine away, it could land on somebody." "I know, but there could be hundreds of people in that plane. They'll die for sure if that plane goes up in flames. Now get going, Rogue. When you drop that burning engine, make sure you aim for some place in the ground there's no lights. No chances are Okay, chances are it'll be an open field or a lake. So, anyone dumb enough to be out there on a night like this?" So, here goes the engine. That's their tough luck. So, great. I haven't been found any food now, and I can't even find the van. This stinks. I feel like hitting something, but you can't punch a snowflake. I really do. I know Peter David, his incessant need to put jokes drives some people crazy, but I enjoy it. So, hold it. What's that whistling sound? Sounds like something falling. And so, crash. I love this. Hulk is like, "Was this somebody's idea of a joke?" So, oh, hope you guys are enjoying this run with McFarlane and Peter David so far. Yes, McFarlane will ultimately leave. We are gonna stick around with the Hulk throughout Peter David's run because it's very good. So, and so now we got Wolverine here, and he's kind of explaining things and all that kind of stuff. So, he smells the Hulk on it because of he's able to, but he says that his scent has changed. So, and so now we're going to take a little break here, and we're going to go with the leader who has mutated himself. The leader says, "That's odd. Inclement weather breaking out in defiance of all weather patterns. What does it mean, leader?" "It means that the world situation may be deteriorating faster than I anticipated. I may have to seize the reins earlier than scheduled. You'll really need a powerful weapon to do it. How about the gamma ray bomb?" "Ah, Half-Life, in addition to being obviously pathetic, you're pathetically obvious. You want vengeance for what the bomb did to you. You are seeking poetic justice. Nevertheless," and he hits a button here, "you raised a valid point. Time for a call to," and then of course the Pentagon, General Hamilton speaking. Who? Let me tell you, to get to the a general in the Pentagon, they have a second. He wouldn't answer it himself, but "General, this is your leader. Please give me a full report on this strange weather situation." Of course, you see the general here with his glowing eyes because he's under control of the leader. "Yes, sir. We're sending troops in to aid the largest disaster areas, including Dallas and Chicago." "No, sir. Our meteorologists have no explanation." And Half-Life is like, "The bomb. Ask him about the..." And the leader's like, "Half-Life, I found you in the desert surrounded by assorted limbs and 4 radiation poison vultures. If you don't shut up, I'll leave you in worse shape than that." So the leader continues, "Now, General, listen very carefully. The government is manufacturing gamma bombs. Your leader wants to know where they are." So, back to Betty. I am a slave of duty. I am a creature of habit. I am trapped in the dreary confines of my existence, stalled and unable to go forward, snow-blinded and unable to look back. I know what I should do and what I shouldn't. I always have, but it's never helped. The one thing I shouldn't do is think about him, and yet, once again, I do. Where is he? So, looks like we got Hulk here eating some meat. Hello, in there. This is Sergeant O'Reilly of the National Guard. Is anybody in there? We're here to help you. And love this panel here. No thanks. I help myself. Now scram, soldier boys. And of course, they're like, it's the Hulk. Shoot him. And so Hulk says, you idiots, the bullets can't hurt me. But a couple of them hit the gas tank of this truck. It'll, and of course, you don't say that real quick. I do this also with how he does fire on a gun. I stole also that. So, of course, this truck explodes. My food ruined because of you morons. All these years and you soldiers haven't gotten any smarter, but I have. So he picks up the truck. This is kind of what I mean with the ticky tacks, which McFarlane will eventually do. It just would have been nice to do some rendering on the pants. Kind of breaks it up because it's just rendering everywhere, so it's kind of difficult sometimes keeping track. But so he throws the truck at them, and I'm smart enough to know that you guys won't leave me alone just by my asking you. I have to step on you like the bugs you are. Run, says this guy. So I love this kind of like watching it as the Hulk. That's pretty cool. That's right, run. Let everybody know the Hulk's in town. The next guy who crosses me is going to get fried. Of course, we know who that's going to be. So Wolverine is sort of leading the X-Men for a little bit of time, just a couple issues while Storm was gone. She asked him to lead the X-Men. So again, I haven't covered that yet on my X-Men stuff, so just kind of filling in the gaps. Tells the X-Men to go help people out there. Love this Wolverine here. Love also that he filled in the shadow of the hand. Oh, it just looks so cool here. So, and Wolverine says, I wonder who the jerk who's responsible for... Sorry, let me redo that. I wonder who the jerk is who's responsible for this. So, of course, we see the Hulk behind him. I realized later that the wind's against me. My words carry. His scent doesn't. So, Hulk hears him. And, of course, very cool. And the Hulk is coming after him. Only hint is a low animal growl. He makes a split instant before he would have hit me. It's enough so you can hear the claws pop, snicked, and he turns around and hits the Hulk. Great panel here. Again, no strong black lines yet by McFarlane. He gets there. We all know he gets there. He is absolutely a fan favorite for a reason. But at this time, it was just tick, 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 tick. So, I pop my claws, but not my cork. I don't do that anymore. I'm civilized now. At least that's what I like to tell myself. So, Hulk is like, you miserable little shrimp. You cut me. I'll tear you apart for that. And so, an invitation to dance. I love to waltz. I've already drawn first blood. Something inside set to draw more. My heart's pumping. My lips curl back. And then I remember who I am. This is what I mean. Look how great he looks when he's got black. So, I remember who I am and what I have to do. So, And in a voice hoarse, as if with passion, I say, "Sorry, my mistake." And he snaps his claws back. And Hulk is like, "You kidding?" And Wolverine's like, "I'm serious. I used to be like you, Hulk. Love to scrap more than anything. I have more important things to do, Hulk. I'm not going to fight you today." And so Wolverine walks away. So great panel here. Man, McFarlane is so good. "Then you'll die today." And so again, great freaking panel here. Goodness gracious. McFarlane's first ink job is an absolute masterpiece. It's just so good. So, and so he lands right by Wolverine. "You think I've forgotten when we first met in Canada? I just wanted to be left alone, but you wouldn't back off. Oh no. You had you had to have your piece of me." And so Wolverine's like, "I've changed since then." "So have I. I've gotten smart. You've gotten gutless." And Wolverine says, "Knowing when to fight and when to walk away is more smarts than you'll ever have." God, this is so cool. You would think in the digital version they would fix certain things, like, the eyes. There was another panel that we had gone where the eyes also were colored brown. "You talk too much. You think too much," Hulk says as he starts smashing. "You're a spineless wimp looking for an excuse to stay out of my way. You think you're something special, but you're nothing." And he does his thunder clap. The ear splitting clap is his devastating against someone normal. Against me, with my acute hearing, it's almost lethal. And so Hulk keeps punching. There. He keeps on me, shouting, cursing, not giving me time to think. And then, thought is gone, replaced by fear, anger, hatred, hot and beautiful. I'm sick of fighting myself. I'm panting, every muscle in my body contracts. He wants it, I want it. All right. "All right," says Wolverine, and he pops his claws again. Just absolutely love this with just the eye there. And Wolverine is like, "All right." And boom. Look at this. Again, would have been nice with spotting some blacks on it, but we will get there. We're kind of working on it, so all right. Love the black. Just very cool. And Wolverine is like winning. He's like, "He won." I stand there howling my. So he's saying he won because he made Wolverine turn into it, even though it's the Hulk that's laying down. Um, so he won. I stand there howling my triumph to the moon. I can't see it in the heart, hidden by my heaving chest. I know he won because he made what I am stronger than what I think I am. Like a wild animal, I ripped him apart. And the worst thing is, I'm glad. And you can see here, Wolverine. And then my instincts tell me something my mind refuses to accept as he turns around. He's standing. He's alive. He's actually getting angrier and stronger. And the gaping wounds in his chest are healing. And Hulk is like, let's try that again. So, and so back to Rick and Clay here. I'm glad I tried the shortwave again. I picked up some sort of police report. Sounds like the Hulk and somebody else are slugging it out on the highway near exit 12. If we hurry, we can get there before they level Dallas. Good thing I found this thing's onboard guidance system, or we'd be on the snowbound forever. This is insane. We're risking life and limb to find the gamma ray bombs the government's stockpiling, and our greatest ally is also our biggest handicap. Hopefully stealing this van and running from S.H.I.E.L.D. will be worth it, buddy. The world doesn't need a weapon that could create even more gamma guys for us to worry about. What you got there, Clay? Says Rick. Some personal effects I grabbed from Gamma Base right before it blew up. So, of course, the picture of Bruce and Betty to Clay. Thanks for everything, the banners. In happier times, he says. So, happier times, my thoughts keep being drawn back to them. Why? Why do I keep torturing myself? Why do I keep reopening wounds that refuse to heal? And so, again, Wolverine and the Hulk continue to fight. I'm going to kind of just concentrate on more of what's happening as opposed to, trying to read everything in here. We're just, this is just kind of made for us to slow it down. Otherwise, this is just a fast-paced fight going on here. So, but every time, Wolverine notices that every time you can see here Wolverine, it's just kind of blending in with the coloring here. Definitely should have been colored darker, not the same color as the background, perhaps. But the more he cuts the Hulk, the faster it seems that he heals. And so Hulk, you can see him grab him by the arms. Is it an Ultimate Hulk and Wolverine where he just rips Wolverine in two? So Wolverine notices that Hulk's getting stronger. So you can see here Wolverine is still going as well. It is amazing that it's been, this issue is about 35 years old. Based on, today, this is from 88. We're in 2024. Yet, this is still some of the best stuff that's out there, even by today's standards. Even, it's just so cool. So, Wolverine, of course, continues to attack Hulk. Man, I really wish McFarlane would still draw. I really do. I know he's got his toy empire and his, his Spawn movie that he wants to do and just so many others distractions. But really, I just selfishly really, really, really wish he would draw more. I just do. I really miss his drawing. So great panel here of Wolverine here after the Hulk tossed him out. So you can see here just ready to go. And so bam, just continue. Look at this. Just wow. This is why I like doing this digital versus the you just don't see the scope of how large. Look at this fight. Just bam. And so he tosses Wolverine aside again. So love again. McFarlane and Frank Miller do these vertical panels that better than anybody else. Those are the two vertical panel masters of it. So and so he loves that Wolverine's getting up again. He wants to go back at again. So, and then he shot. And you hear this, enough. And it was Clay and Rick. Enough, do you hear me? Enough. I swear to heaven, I don't understand you people. Every time two of you muscle-bound bozos get together, you try to beat each other's brains out. Or at least what passes for the brain. I thought you wanted to find the gamma bombs, Hulk. Help head off creations of more creatures like yourself. And you waste your time beating up on Wolverine. Has it occurred to you that if I could find you, S.H.I.E.L.D. could too? So, and then he goes to Wolverine. And you, Wolverine, don't you have anything better that you should be doing? And he goes, yeah, I do. And so he says, I thought I'd come so far, then I run into you and bang, the years all fall away. No matter how far I go, I'm right back where I started. Yeah, well, you're just like all the others who always thought they were better than me. So, understand all of you. And I don't have to beat up every lowlife like you to prove them. You tell them to prove it. You tell them, Shrimp. Tell them the Hulk's better than any of you. So he just slams in there. That's kind of the Hulk's thing. And so Wolverine's like, yeah, sure. So. And Wolverine quit smoking during this time. So he says, I can't remember the last time I wanted a cigar this bad. Um, so Hulk takes the van and he just goes away. So inside they talk. So once we're out of here, where to, Clay? New Orleans, where Betty is? No, Kansas, where my brother Alan is. Alan Quartermain? So, and of course, Hulk's thinking weaklings couldn't get anything done without me. And if I didn't need him to watch out for Banner's scrawny hide. So, don't laugh. He's the elder. It could have been me. Anyway, he can help us find the gamma bombs. Convincing Bruce that the bombs are more important than finding Betty may be tough. Clay, you think Betty's been thinking about Bruce since she ran off? Not if she's smart, Rick. Not if she's smart. So, of course, we conclude here. We've been like two stars orbiting each other, Bruce. No matter how long apart, we're always drawn back together. And yet, somehow, even after we got married, we never connected emotionally. We still continue to circle each other like two ships passing in the night. An endless, vicious circle. A cycle even, and she throws the globe and cries. A cycle that can only be broken at great expense. So, next issue, The Man Bull. So, we're going to look at Hulk 341 from 1987, written by Peter David. He's one of my faves. And drawn by the one and only Todd McFarlane. This is McFarlane's second issue as artist. I covered 340 with Wolverine. That was his first inking job. And we look here at this cover here. And one of the things you're going to notice here is that McFarlane is not really spotting blacks at this time. You see it's all just hatching and marks. No blacks. We all know, of course, he does eventually modify that and starts adding some blacks along with the hatching. But right now, when he started inking, he just kind of went to this hatching style. So, which is very interesting. Eventually, he does become, like I said, a more organized inker and spotting more blacks. So, all right. So, these two guys are looking for two cows here, and he eventually finds them dead. Now, this does not look like a cow at all, but that's all right. So McFarlane can't be perfect at everything from the get-go. So they find the carcass of the cow. The cow's partially eaten, and so this guy goes, we got some kind of predator in our hand. And he goes, a predator? It had to be UFOs, Bob. I lost two cows. Remember? What kind of creature could walk in and out with two cows under his arms, huh? And we now turn to the Hulk, who says, I'm hungry. And we got Clay here on a phone booth. Back in the day, no cell phones. We had to have phone booth. And it's kind of funny. This is a phone booth. It looks like sort of in the middle of nowhere. So they're probably at some kind of rest area, I would imagine. So Clay is calling a Diane Bellamy. And it says here, last seen in issue 322. It says, it's me, Clay Quarterman. Look, I can't talk on the phone long, your phone may be tapped, and then there's an interruption. What do you mean no one would tap a reporter's phone? What planet are you from? I love that part. This is in the 1980s, of course, so we know things have gotten even worse here. So, look, Diane, I read there's going to be a SHIELD press conference tomorrow about the destruction of Gamma Base. I want to let you know what's going on so you can. And then again, he's introduced, and you can see him tapping on the plexiglass here. No, I won't be there. I'm on the run, he says. How come? Because I blew up Gamma Base. Why? Because it was there, okay? Now shut up and I'll fill you in. So now we move on to the Hulk. I love this. Just the black panel here, it looks, or not the black panel, I'm sorry, the black silhouette here, it looks freaking exquisite. And the moon here looks like the Death Star. So, all right, so we got Hulk thinking here, and so he says, I feel Banner rattling around inside me. It's getting towards sunrise. He'll be coming out soon. I'm remembering so much more these days about Banner, about myself. It's like a cloud's been lifted from my mind. But things I've forgotten too. I've forgotten what daylight feels like. Then I spot something over in the high grass, and I smell blood, hear chewing sounds. I check it out. And what I see makes me whisper a word that certainly doesn't describe the scene. He says, holy, as he kind of whispers it here. Love the eyes. Again, early McFarlane is very, very cool. Of course, McFarlane's gonna get even better, but you just don't see very many artists doing this hatching little thing. Jim Lee hatches a lot, but not like this. So years ago, some nameless soldier spotted me for the first time and said it's some kind of Hulk. That's how I got my name. For the first time, I know how he felt. You're a savage one, ain't ya? Says the Hulk. And so here we got Savage Bull, and we get our credits, Peter David and Todd McFarlane. And again, no heavy inking, just he's probably using a pen, fountain pen of some kind. He's definitely not using brushing. So he's just away. Oh, sorry. The Savage Bull doth bear the yoke. So, all right. And the thing says, Savage, help, Savage. Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane are the best two at vertical panels, and Hulk says, "Help you what? Floss?" And the thing says, "Help Savage, and Savage will share, kill." And Hulk says, "Forget it. I'm hungry, but not that hungry. Now get out of here. You get on my nerves. You hear me scram?" And so Savage goes away. Humans have a saying when they feel weird. Someone just stepped on my grave. I think someone did a fandango on mine. And so we're back to Clay here. And so Clay says, that's that. Now it's just an hour's drive to my brother's house. By that time, the Hulk will have changed back to Bruce Banner and... Say, where is the Hulk anyway? And Hulk goes, right here. And as he taps Rick here, geez, don't do that, okay? What's wrong? You look like you saw something strange. And Hulk says, no, nothing strange. And we're in a house here. I can't get that creature out of my mind. It talks so it's more than an animal. And so we see here the Hendersons. But the way it ripped that cow apart, it sure is less than a man. And you see someone says, hold it. And he turns around. And the guy's like, get back, Martha. It's some kind of wild animal. And the kid's like, kill it, Dad. Kill it. And so the dad complies. and shoots. And we see Savage here. Again, I just when you look at just the rendering, and you look at what McFarlane kind of does now, um, it's you see it there. You see still the cartoony, the eyes, the stuff, but he's kind of figuring it out. So anyway, the bull rushes the Hendersons here, and now we are at Clay's brother's house. So this lady here says, Clay, my stars, why didn't you tell me you'd be in Kansas? Only thing worse than a brother-in-law who you never see is one who never tells you they're coming. And Clay says, it was kind of unexpected, June. Is Alan home? Inside eating breakfast, which is where you should be. Who are your friends? He says, Rick Jones and Dr. Banner. A doctor? Oh, good. Little Jenny's got a cough. And here's Clay's brother here. Well, little brother, it's been what, years? Not enough, mind you. Now, Alan, be nice. Shake your brother's hand. So, good to see you, Clay, and likewise, Alan, because they're pressing very hard here. So, apparently, there's some tension between them. And so Clay says, you haven't lost your grip, big brother, or your chutzpah, Clay. You must want something, only to find out how you're doing. I've been worried about you, he says. Ever since you gave up computers to become a farmer. Your concern is touching, says Alan. If you must know, I haven't given it up completely. I've been tinkering with a homegrown rig for years now. Started with an IBM PC and a modem. Expanded when I could afford it. Come on, I'll show you, he says. You always were a whiz, Alan. Still am. Check it out. And so he says, I've sold a few programs. I've developed a small fortune off them. Games too. Pays the bills during a slow harvest. Plus, I have a database with grain forecast, market analysis, weather predictions, tomorrow's farmer today. I can do just about anything with this setup. And Clay says, really? How about breaking into a shield security system and finding out where gamma bombs are being stockpiled? Asks Clay. So, and here we have the old Hulkbusters, if you remember them. We have, the Hulkbusters, Larquette, and a couple of them here. Anyway, we see them walking through, and all of a sudden the leader. Real quick, we got we got Donald Trump running for president in 1987. Oh no, I'm sorry. Not Trump, the candidate. I forgot this guy here is his last name is Trump. My bad. I forgot. So, he's saying, "Come on, Larroquette, Saunders, let's get this press conference over with." And he says, "Right behind you, Trump." Yeah, Trump. Rock and I will follow your lead. So, again, nothing to do with Donald Trump. This is 1987. So. Excuse me, pardon me, I just remembered an appointment. Hey, watch who you're shoving. So, of course, we got the leader here touching them, which makes them under his control. And so, here's that Diane Bellamy here. Is it true that the Gamma base was blown up by Clay Quartermain, a S.H.I.E.L.D. operative who is now a fugitive? What? I mean, let's wait for the press conference, okay, miss? And so... Isn't it true that Quartermain was concerned that the government is building gamma bombs, a concern shared by Bruce Banner, the bomb's inventor? Wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D. involved in a cover-up rather than this becoming public knowledge? Now, just one. How about it, Trump? Is it true? What does Nick Fury think? And, of course, we see the leader smiling. So, back at the farm. Let me understand. You don't want to go to your pal Nick Fury on this because you disobeyed orders directly from Fury's bosses. Right. I don't want to put Nick in the middle of this. But your own brother, no problem, Clay. Breaking into the government files. That's espionage, maybe treasons. And Clay says, only a little treason. Come on, Alan. You could be doing something important, saving millions of lives. Look, what's the obsession with the gamma bombs? What about the other bombs that exist? And Bruce says, disarmament has... Oh, sorry. The guy says, disarmament has to start somewhere. Oh, hi. Bruce, the thing is, I created the gamma bombs. I can't let such a destructive weapon that I created exist. Not after. Wait a minute. Bruce Banner, the Hulk? As he points at him. Geez, who are you to talk? That weapon you made would only inflict a fraction of the damage that the Hulk has already caused. And you want me to risk everything just to assuage your guilty conscience? What'd you think that bomb was for when you first made it? Personal kicks? You can just and he's about to say, forget it. And suddenly June's yelling, Alan, come here quick. One of the things I like about Todd McFarlane is he at least gives you a little bit of backgrounds, and I love it just to give you the setting so you don't forget you're in a Kansas farm here. So, June, what is it? We heard you shout. What? You're ashen. What's wrong? I just got off the phone with Hilda Kramer. The entire Henderson family's in the hospital, all torn up. Sam Henderson nearly trampled to death. They said some sort of horned creature attacked them. A wild bull looked like a bull, stood up like a man. And Bruce here goes, oh no, the Hulk encountered it. Figured that for once he didn't attack something on sight. Those people might be alright if he had. And so Alan says, if you know something about this creature, Banner, you have to tell the authorities, state troopers or something. And Rick says, oh, right. They'll want to know who Bruce is. Next thing, S.H.I.E.L.D. and the government will be all over. And so Bruce looks down, ashamed. He goes, Rick is right. I can't help you, Alan. I'm sorry. And Clay says, maybe not. But the Hulk can. Alan, how's this? We'll send the Hulk after the creature if you get me the information we need. And Bruce is like, now just one. And the other guy goes, you blackmail your own brother on something like this? Forget it. And June says, Alan, wait. If these men can somehow find and stop that creature, do what they want. So, trade one creature for another? No, Clay. It's out of the question. We'll find another way, says Bruce. There is no other way. And Bruce says, I won't be a bargaining chip. I love the glasses. And Clay grabs Bruce here, you can see, and he's like, I've had it with you, Bruce. Don't you get it? We're on borrowed time. We can't stay one step ahead of S.H.I.E.L.D. forever. I put my neck on the line for you because I didn't like what I was being ordered to do. But you block me on this, Bruce, and I'll kill you myself. And he says, I don't like what you're becoming, Clay, says Bruce. That's pretty funny considering the source. We are what we are, Bruce, and no one should know that better than you. And he kind of smacks him out. And Alan says, all right, Clay, you win. I won't take any chances of that thing hurting my fella. You have a deal, blast you. And June's like, oh, thank you, Alan. And so the creature was actually just right outside. Don't thank me. Let's just hope that thing isn't difficult to find. So, all right, Clay. So what do we do now? We wait, Alan, for sunset. And so here's the creature here, and suddenly Bruce is screaming, and his clothes are already ripped. I want you to know I'm very unhappy with the present situation, and you can see it. Love this here. And all of a sudden, he's transformed, and I think it stinks. Great stuff by McFarlane. And so again, we get some exposition on his thoughts here. This whole crummy deal was at the top of Banner's mind when we changed, which means it's foremost in my mind as well. So when Jones tries to fill me in, I shut him up. Of course, just because I don't share Banner's mind doesn't mean I share his viewpoint. Why deal? He'll be happy to help us after I remove a couple of his limbs. And so you can see Alan sweating here. If you beat him up, Hulk, he won't be in any condition to help us. And look, I'd really appreciate it, knowing that my brother and his family are safe. And Hulk says, "Ah, sure, Clay. What the heck?" And Rick Jones goes, "Oh, he's smiling. I knew you'd listen to reason. By the way," and he flicks him, boom, and shows that he goes, "That's for your attitude problem." This Peter David is a fantastic writer, and the humor that he inserts into serious situations um, is impeccable. He now there is that Wolverine story, and I've covered it with Sam Keith. That the humor did start to get a little too, you know, whatever. It was just it seemed a little forced, but um, it's a trope of his. Um, Peter David understands humor. He gets it. He had a short run on Spider-Man. I think he should have had more. Actually, he's had several short runs on Spider-Man, but I know that he was in the '80s in Peter Parker's Spider-Man that he did prior to Hulk, and then he had the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So he's had a couple, but I just think he'd be great at Spider-Man with his humor. So, all right. And Hulk says, "I'll be back," and he says, and Rick says, "Great, now he's the Terminator." And he goes, "Clay, you okay?" And Alan's like, "Come on, Clay, wake up." And so, um, Clay's like, "But I don't want to go to school, Ma." As Hulk leaves, and of course, Savage sees him leave, and Clay's like, "Terrific, let's get him in the," and he was gonna say house, but he goes, "Uh-oh, guys, we're in trouble, and that's no bull. Alan, run, it's going to charge." And so uh Rick's gonna distract them, and June runs aside, and he goes, "Hilda, it's here, hurry, help, help." And so Rick Jones says, "Bizarre, I survived Skrulls, Kree, and Dire Rights, and I'm gonna buy it stomped on by Ferdinand here. Hold it, he's not charging, just staring at me. It's weird. He kind of looks like the Hulk used to before he." And Hulk lands here. One side, Jones, looking for you. I spotted Savage right after I took off. Savage, yes, help Savage. He talks. He says he wants help. And Hulk punches it and says, "I'll help him, all right. Help him to shut up." So, um, Hulk, hold it. Don't you see? He's like you used to be. The way you could be again if something happened. No, I'll never be a stupid, pathetic animal like that again. Never, he says. Savage, not stupid, not animal. Not animal. Savage, not animal. And he hits the Hulk, knocking him down. So, Savage was man. Scientists made Savage into a man bull. Now, more animal than man. Getting worse. Saw you before, look like Savage used to. Human. And so this is back in Daredevil 78. So this guy hasn't appeared very often here. This body unnatural like yours. Show Savage how to change back to human, to real body. Show or Savage will kill you. So even though they're trying to call him Savage, he ends up just being called Manbull. And he is still around. So anyway, Hulk says, "Fat chance," and he punches him again. And so here comes some guy here grabbing a shotgun and some shells, and Savage hits Hulk again and says, "Make Savage human. Want real body back now." And Hulk is like, "You thick-headed freak. I wouldn't even if I could. I'm the reality. Me, not Banner, the weakling. Me, the Incredible Hulk." And he hits the manbull here, and he goes into the farm. And I love this. Just the compositions that McFarlane is doing, they're just absolutely great here. And he rushes into manbull again. All just tax, no real inking. And this guy's like, "The UFOs have landed. I know it. Shut up, Ed. Quartermain's place is up ahead." So this guy's got a gun, and this guy just has a pitchfork here. And Hulk continues fighting the manbull or savage. He throws this combine and just. By the way, these things cost more than a house. These things are super expensive, and hope he had insurance, because he levels that combine and hits Savage here. And Hulk keeps punching him and says, "Again, you're standing up. Stop it. Stop making me hit you." And here, look at the black as he spots some black finally. Just love it here. "Why are you doing this? What do you want from me? Cure Savage." And Hulk says, "I can't." "Then kill Savage. Can't live like this anymore." And Hulk says, "I can't. I don't know why." "No, I know why, but I won't admit it," he says here. And so here come the villagers, and they're like, "There's that thing on the ground. That's it. Kill it." And Hulk is like, after all that, he's like, "No, stay back. Leave him alone." "Him, Hulk, it's some mutated animal. That's all. We have to kill it." And he goes, "I love the silhouette. Just absolutely beautiful." And he goes, "No, he's human. Savage. Talk to them. Let them know, or they'll kill you." And he's just looking down. He goes, "I get it. That's what you want, isn't it? Jones was wrong. You're nothing like me, because I'd never give up." And he goes, "Fine, let him stick your head in a pitchfork. I don't care anymore. Let him kill you." "Wait, hold it. Look at his eyes. And he begins to cry. And the people are like, "But what do we do now? He has to be punished." And Hulk's walking away. He says, "Whatever else you do doesn't matter. You're already punishing him. You're going to let him live." And so we end the issue. No mortal fear. The Incredible Hulk 342 by Peter David with Todd McFarlane doing the art. I was in middle school when this sucker came out, and Todd McFarlane was changing my life. This was a good time to be alive. Great cover here. I am planning on covering Peter David's run on The Incredible Hulk, but right now it is just issue by issue, very slow, because I'm currently serializing the X-Men daily. I just cannot do Hulk daily, X-Men daily, and then give you another video with all the other stuff. So I plan on picking up speed on the Hulk once I'm done with X-Men, but I'm still quite ways away before I can be finished with that. So here we go. So I do have a playlist on the Hulk. The Hulk is one of my favorite characters. Thor, Hulk, Wolverine, Spider-Man are my favorites for Marvel, and so I've always have an affinity for the little green giant, although he is great during this time. I own these comic books. I have the originals in horrible condition because I bought these when I was in middle school, read them, memorized them, and everything. I do have a better I rebought them before COVID, so they didn't cost me an arm and a leg. And here we go. So we got this woman walking here, and so Peter David wants to let us know her name is Fiona, and we get some exposition here. And suddenly we see off panel someone saying, Barbara, Barbara. And she goes, what? My name isn't. And he's like, and so if you remember Half-Life, we met him a few issues ago. Well, more than a few issues ago, but a little bit ago. And he goes, don't you recognize me? It's Tony. Thought I'd lost you forever. Barbara, my beautiful wife. Now I can live again. And he holds her. I can start pulling my life together. I can. Wait, you're not Barbara. My mistake. I see her over there. So we know this dude has gone crazy and he's taken her life here. And so, Barbara, it's me, Tony, wait up. So he's about to unfortunately end up killing another person. So, all right. So great splash page here. Great art by Todd McFarlane. This is early Todd McFarlane when he started inking himself. He's only been inking himself for 3 issues here. So not quite what we're used to now, but definitely starting to see some of the ticks here. So we have the leader here speaking. So I have noticed that so many so-called villains feel constrained to lay out their plans just before the climax of their machinations. Explain to the hero why the whys and wherefores. When my plan reaches fruition, however, I hope to be otherwise occupied. So when you hear this tape, my dear Hulk, at some point in the future, please accept my humblest condolences. I only wish I could converse with you now, but I can see on my screen that you're yourself somewhat busy. We got our title, No Human Fears, Peter David, Todd McFarlane. Rick Parker is actually quite a serviceable letterer, so not bad himself either. And you can see here that the leader is watching the Hulk on this ultra TV, but of course TVs back then weren't what would we say, the widescreen as they were referred to as a time, which are now just normal TVs. So the leader continues. 2 hours ago, several women, none of whom was named Barbara, died. Their deaths will seem pointless to most, but to beings like myself, there was meaning, there was purpose. Shakespeare said the world was a stage. He was wrong. The world is a puzzle, but it takes an intellect such as mine to see just how the pieces fit. But I digress, he says. Hulk, even though your mind is stronger than it was, I should proceed chronologically, else I might lose you prematurely. As I dictate this, you battle Half-Life several hours ago. However, he was at my side. I was designing one of the agents who will steal a gamma bomb for me when Half-Life said, you don't need any new agents, leader. I'll steal the bombs for you. Indeed, he asks, how should I trust you with such a mission? Your first for me to battle the Hulk was a total botch. And Half-Life says, that's the most unkind cut of all, he says. His pleas were sincere and annoying. I really do like Peter David writing his Peter Davidisms. I think Peter David is a phenomenal writer. He just gets a lot of slack for his campy, sometimes comical dialogue, but you know, I like it. I truly do. I'm a huge fan of Peter David. He is still with us. His health hasn't been very well, but Peter David is a great writer. I collect a lot of his stuff. I did not collect his Aquaman because really I don't care about Aquaman. I don't care who's writing it. Jeff Johns can even get me to pick up Aquaman, and I love Jeff Johns. So, and it was even who the heck drew it with Jeff Johns? Was it Ed Benes? It was anyway, beautiful art. I still wouldn't buy it. I feel the same way with Namor. It's not just Aquaman, it's Namor and all these fish or underwater things. But X Factor, both his runs were fantastic. His second run was even more. He had an incredible, pardon the pun, run on Hulk. Very long, about 12 years. He, um, oh my goodness, not Teen Titans. What was it? Young Justice for DC Comics. Supergirl also for DC Comics. Lot of stuff. I really like Peter David. Um, so his pleas were so sincere and annoying that eventually I took pity on him. I would give him one more chance. If he could destroy the Hulk, then he could steal the bombs from me. If nothing else, it seemed a good opportunity to witness this new Hulk in action. I mounted a small camera on Half-Life's armored chest for a live or half-live feed. Attach whatever you want, leader. I'm not afraid. After all, when you're dead, what else is there to fear? And the leader says you can't even begin to imagine. Now, this leader was a redesign with the big brain. Prior to this, the leader had the long brain, but he stepped into my matter transporter, the same device that saved my life not long ago, and I sent him on his way. How did I know where you were, Hulk? I'm sure that crossed your mind. And he says mine in quotations. By the time you hear this, it won't matter. When I absorbed the gamma radiation out of Rick Jones, I accidentally established a psychic link with him just before the cave blew up and separated us. I can't control him as I can others, but I know everything he knows. His whereabouts, plans. Also how to play acoustic guitar and harmonica for what it's worth. And I have covered these issues here. So I covered John Byrne's run, then I covered Al Milgram's run, and then we went straight to Peter David. So I've got quite the Hulk playlist here. And so the leader continues. And so as soon as Half-Life had in his rapidly increasing dementia sated himself on the life force of several more hapless normals. I love this. Todd McFarlane is king of the vertical panels. He went straight after you, Hulk. And so we are now again after last issue with the Man Bull here. So they got the Man Bull thing in protective custody, and this is Clay's brother. Yeah, and my fellow farmers promised to hush up your participation to keep the authorities off our case. Long enough for me to tap into the government computers and discover where the gamma bombs are that you guys are hunting for. Cracking shield files is way too tough, but government system, we did that stuff at MIT before breakfast. And he goes, geez, Clay, I can't believe I'm doing this for you. I'm risking everything getting involved with this insanity. Sometimes we just do things we're afraid of, brother of mine. Isn't that right, Hulk? Says Clay. And Hulk says, I wouldn't know. Part of the thing that I love about McFarlane's Hulk is the brow. It's he gives Hulk this brow that not very many other people just go. And so, got something, Alan? Says Rick. Sure do, Rick. According to Pentagon classified files, they're manufactured wholly. There's 5,000 gamma bombs stored in a military base in Yuma, Arizona. Underground, I think. Real quick here, this is the stuff that started to take over what I call the image, ticks, because Jim Lee did it, and then Will Portacio did it, and then Rob Liefeld did it, McFarlane. It just these ticks, and so eventually I'm going to do a commentary on the mid '90s image and how it affected all of comicdom. So we now have a restaurant worker, and of course this guy's still looking for Barbara. And he grabs, this is the wife of, oh my gosh, Alan. And so, she screams, and Hulk comes out going, now what? And you can see Half-Life kind of getting in there. Love how McFarlane just makes Hulk look so big, like he doesn't fit in the panels. He said that was one of the things he wanted to do. So Half-Life tries to go in, but you can see that he's dragged out. And so Hulk says, this Berg always have this much action. First that horn bull thing, and a few hours later this armored. And then he doesn't finish his sentences. He pounds him into the ground. He goes, wait, I feel weak. I felt this way once when Half-Life, but how? And Half-Life jumps on him like this. Sweet pomegranate wine in my mouth is bitter as gale of birds, but your embrace along gives life to my heart. Very poetic. And you can forget ripping me apart this time, Hulkster. This titanium armor will hold me together, and you're already too weak to damage it. So he's taking the power basically away from the Hulk here. And so the leader continues again, vertical panel here, just very cool. As I dictate this, Hulk, you're fighting for your life. If you should happen to survive and eventually hear this, it may comfort you to know you're not the only one with problems. Take, for instance, Agent Trump of S.H.I.E.L.D. and his civilian advisors, Larroquette and Saunders. So, again, this has nothing to do, no commentary on Donald Trump. This is 1987. He wasn't president. Ronald Reagan was. So, he just happens to have a last name of Trump. So, well, that press conference was certainly a disaster, says Larroquette. And Trump says, at least my greatest fear hasn't come past. Namely, Nick Fury hasn't stuck his nose into this. And all of a sudden, off panel here, hiya, Trump. And of course, we got Nick Fury here. Love how McFarlane, this is great of him just kind of really leaning in there. So, just hit town. Want to tell me what the devil's going on here? He asks. And so Larroquette says, Colonel Fury, with all due respect, stay out of our affairs. Our work is vital. The Hulk must be stopped. Bruce Banner eliminated. And Fury says, who are these buzzos? He says, civilian advisors, sir, says Trump. I want them out now. And Larroquette's like, you can't do this. And so they're sitting in the bus station here with their bags. I was so sure he couldn't do that. Some people hate this about Peter David. I freaking love it. I think Peter David is a fantastic writer. He's one of my 10 favorites writers of all time. So love it here, like a mother embracing her baby. Look at Hulk. This is just awesome. You're gonna die, Hulk. Die as I absorb the radiation from you. Die and I'll live, he says. So Rick Jones then comes with a shovel, and hits him in the back of his head here. Just the crang. I love it here. I stunned him loose. Yank him loose. Or yanked him, Hulk. Sorry. So out goes Half-Life, and Hulk just kind of collapses. He goes, he makes me weak. Can't be weak. Strength is all I got. I'll fight anybody who's strong, but not someone who makes me weak. We need to know. So, sorry. We know what we need to know. Let's get out of here, he says. So, and Alan goes, and leave that creature running around. He obviously came here because of you. But if you're scared, then I'll... And Hulk is like, scared? Oh my goodness gracious. That is awesome here. And Alan's like, crap. Scared is for humans. I'm the Hulk. Oh, good. He got a second win, says Half-Life. So, you can only drain off my power if I get too close. So he grabs the what would you call it? The log for the power lines. So I'll only touch you with a 10-foot pole. So And so long distance, the next best thing to being there. But of course, he's quite strong also. But with the strengths I've already drained from you, now I can really reach out and touch someone. This is based on AT&T commercials, so more puns from Peter David. So again, vertical panels. McFarlane is so good at them here. So this one here, Hulk is jumping up. So Half-Life says, "Oh, Julius Caesar, thou art mighty yet." And now he comes to bury me, not praise me. Great, again, how McFarlane decides. Him and Frank Miller are the two kings of vertical. Um, oh, beautiful here. So Hulk lands. You can see here, it just squashes this poor guy. And so you're 6 feet under this time, Half-Life, you freak. So, what? No, I'm getting weaker again. Faster this time. Gotta escape. And so Half-Life is grabbing him by the ankle. He's trying to get away from me. He's afraid of me. The Hulk is afraid, he says here. And so the leader continues here. "I do not expect Half-Life to win. He's far too single-minded, fantasizing that he can someday return to his simple life as a humble English professor. He has a plan, but that's all. I do not have a plan. I have many plans, each being carefully cultivated and developed. Should one not work, another one can take its place. So many pieces in the puzzle. Betty Banner, for example, the departed wife of Bruce Banner, also known as the Hulk. So, I've recently decided, however, that it is time to bring Mrs. Banner to me. One operative commented that she did not appear quite well. So, oh, I should have gone this way. I'm sorry. Through my assorted operatives in major cities, I've kept track of her, abetted by computer keeping records of when and where she uses her charge cards, which are known as credit cards here. So I felt it necessary to send one of my androids to bring her in. After all, for all the puzzles to fully take shape, I must be sure that all the pieces are at hand. You know now that I think on a perhaps it's not a puzzle after all. It's more like a game of chess. Yes, rather like that. Mrs. Banner as one of my pawns. And you can see here this robot he was designing grabbing her. A constant ever-shifting game. And while my androids gather 2 more knights, another one of my pawns is locked in a battle with a king. So, who are the other 2? We'll find out. And so you see here just double page, and he has really absorbed the Hulk. And look at Half-Life. He no longer looks like, a corpse. He just looks really good. And now we've got skinny, weak Hulk here. So Half-Life says, "Great Caesar fell. Oh, what fall was there, my countrymen. Look at you, Hulk. So weak, you can't even stand. And me, so powerful. I don't even have to touch you anymore to take your power." And Hulk says here, "He's pulling my strength from me so fast, faster than my body can replace the cells. So this is what it's like to be weak. For the first time in my life, I don't hate Banner. I pity him." So, gosh, this is awesome. Full moon, always a full moon. So, and when you die, I'll be human again, and I can go home to Barbara. I can pick up the shards of life, start over again, be a teacher, go to the dean's teas. I can be Tony Masterson again, and your human half made like this. How beautifully ironic that your death will restore me to what I was. Listen carefully, Hulk. That's whose approaches. And so Rick Jones is running toward Hulk and calls out for him. And Hulk says, "Stay back, Jones. He's mine." And so Man, look at this. Oh, just amazing here. And so Half-Life just keeps doing some more quotes here. You never quit, do you? Still like a teacher, tossing quotes around. You want me to admit I'm afraid of dying? Fine. The whole reason I hate Banner is because I'm afraid he might find some way to get rid of me. But if this is it for me, I'm not going out whimpering. I won't beg for life. But you'll be begging for death. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't you? You're living in a dream world, Tony. You really think you can just start over? You'll just spend your days terrifying people and waiting for the energy you've stolen to wear off so that you'll be like you were, or even worse. If death is here for me, I'm not afraid, but you're going to be afraid of living. Going day in and out, afraid of being what I was. Yes, deteriorating to that weak, wretched body. How can I live like that? I did it all the time. Now it's your problem. And he's like, no, I don't want it. It's yours anyway. He's like, no. And so he releases the Hulk. I love how they decided to use magenta in here. Just boom. So the Hulk goes back to normal. And Rick says, Hulk, what happened? Where's Half-Life? Oh, him? He just let himself go. So that is pretty cool here. And so it's daytime here. So Hulk has reverted back to Banner. Everybody says goodbye. And so remember that everybody looks at the van as just a regular RV. And so the leader concludes here. He's yawning here. From the final views through his camera, it's obvious to me that Half-Life won't be returning anytime soon. His bid to kill the Hulk has obviously failed, as I knew it would. And so a lot of vertical. So he's going to kind of continue to go on the monologue. And so we're just going to get to reveal who all three of the people that he captured were. So we know Betty was one, but he also captured Larroquette and Saunders here. So what is he going to do with them? And we just end here with the leader saying this game becomes more and more entertaining every day. So next issue, totally artificial. Incredible Hulk number 343. We are continuing Peter David's magical run. I own every single issue of these. This issue is drawn by Todd McFarlane. Beautiful as the Hulk. Very simple, elegant cover. You see McFarlane's signature here. He pencils and inks the cover and does the inside as well. This is my favorite version of Hulk. Yes, I know. It was a very short run, but very impactful. This brow, the nose, the just beautiful, beautiful. So let's begin. We start with Rick Jones narrating this. So when she came barreling out of the woods, man, I couldn't believe it. It was funny. I would have thought after everything I've seen, nothing would surprise me. My mistake. Then again, I'm famous for my mistakes. I made a butte years ago. I'm still making up for it. Maybe you read about it. So here we see someone, a female, running through. She says, help. So we know it's a woman. And of course, Rick had mentioned. And so I drove a Jeep out into a gamma ray bomb testing area. A guy named Bruce saved me, but got caught in the blast. He survived, but his life has never been the same because of me. Like I said, I've seen it all, or thought I had, until she showed up. I think I should have gone this way. So, since then, I've been partners with two captains. Saved the universe, gotten cancer, gotten green, gotten better. Who am I? I thought it was obvious. So you can see that Betty is being chased by a robot of some kind. My name is Rick Jones. And who the tattered cutie who surprised my jaded but no longer jade, like I said, self? Her name's Elizabeth Ross Talbot Banner. But me and her friend Clay and her husband Bruce just call her Betty as they all scream here. And you can see here the brakes. Love McFarlane, how he does the headlights on vehicles. And here we have the title of our story, Beyond Redemption. Peter David and Todd McFarlane. Rick Parker is a great letterer. Um, so McFarlane, great with all these ticks here. This is toward the beginning, so he hasn't been inking for a long time, but definitely impactful. So Rick continues here. Clay slammed on the brakes, and I smacked headlong into the windshield because I hadn't buckled in. It was my day for mistakes. So you can see here Bruce running out. Bruce leaped out of the RV, shouting Betty's name. Betty looked stunned. Clay looked stunned. Me, I was busy trying to stop my nose from bleeding where I'd smacked it. So you can see her crying here, and then grabbed. Betty started to stagger toward us, but something grabbed her. Something big. And so you see like this, I don't know, robot of some kind. Something real big, continues Rick. Bruce has always known when he's outmatched, which is usually, when he's outmatched, which is usually, he's real logical that way. It's not cowardice. It's just who he is. He started to back up towards the van, where we have all kinds of weapons, and then so we can see the sun sort of setting. He got weird. No, not this time, says Bruce. And Rick goes, Bruce, get out of the way. Let us handle it. And Clay's here. Flamethrowers, grenade launchers, machine guns, decisions. And then Bruce freaked out on us. So you can see Bruce lunging toward this robot here. Betty was shocked. It was the first time Bruce had blown her cool. His cool. And it was because of her. Put her down, yells Bruce. Put her down right now, or I'll talk about your hollow threats as he's tossed aside here. And so we see that there's more. There's 3 more. As if it wasn't bad enough, suddenly Larry and Moe showed up too. That's a reference for those of you younger folks to the Three Stooges. Larry, Moe, and Curly. So, because these 10-ton turkeys made like Astro Boy and took off. No problem, because Clay was tracking them with our onboard radar here. And so we got a wonderful vertical panel. McFarlane and Frank Miller are just wonderful at these panels. But Bruce, he didn't know that. All he knew was, they're getting away, yells Bruce. And Clay says, no, they're not. But look, Bruce, this whole thing feels wrong, he continues here. When closing in on the stockade where your creation gamma bombs are stored, and then bam, Betty appears. Maybe it's a setup to slow us down, or maybe... but Clay is interrupted here. You can see Bruce, and I love, look at this, how angry Bruce is. And look at Clay, just surprised. And Bruce says, don't lecture me, Clay. I have 10 times your brain power. I know all the possibilities. Bad enough that I let you talk me into delaying the search for Betty. Now I'm supposed to ignore her when she's right in front of me. Now drive after her, or I'll drive over you. So, so Ray continues narrating here. Clay slammed her into gear, and Bruce sat there smoldering. Loved the lines that McFarlane does. It's one of his tropes here. Very cartoony. McFarlane is just, I wish he would draw more, man. I truly do. So we continue with Rick here. For a moment, I wonder what had gotten into Bruce. Then I glanced at my watch, and I realized it wasn't what had gotten into him. It was what was coming out of him. My apologies here. So here we see the 3 robots here. They landed about a half a mile away in the middle of a half-constructed model community called Carter Estates. I hope Mr. Carter has his insurance paid up. And so here they are, and here comes the cavalry. Curly, who was holding Betty, held back while Larry charged the van. And so here you can see the weapons coming out. We gave him a high-tech version of a pie in the face. So then I leaped out for the final punch, an RPG-7 rocket launcher to Larry's gut. The blast knocked me on my can. The only effect that it had on Larry was it made him mad. And you can see here, smacks the van and it falls. And Bruce says, Clay, we're trapped here. Do something, please. Oh, and Clay. Oh, now he's Mr. Polite. I love Peter David's writing. Oh, no. No, it's not fair. I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to rescue her. Don't let him be the hero. And you can see as Bruce is turning into Hulk here as the sun is going down. Isn't there anything left for me? Is he the hero? Sorry, if he's the hero, who am I? And then he screams here, Arr! So we get an interlude here. Who am I? And we've got Saunders here. Funny you should ask. Your name is Craig Saunders, so even as a kid playing with caps, you loved to blow things up. Was it the noise you loved or the pretty flash? So remember in high school you tried to formulate a new explosive and thought you'd failed until you tossed it in the sink. Took them a month to put the lab back together. For an explosive expert of your talent, the military was the perfect career. Go to war, blow things up, defuse bombs, and a great pay and great benefits. What a life. So here you can see him doing all that. Until the life falls apart. That day at National Airport, the idiot who thought he could smuggle a bomb through the airport fluoroscope, telling them it was computer parts. Like a bad movie, he shouted, Everyone keep back, I'll set the bomb off. Terrorists, made your stomach turn. So you took your nice clean pistol and shot that sucker down, screaming, ranting. He was an easy target. It's all right, you shouted. I'm a bomb expert. Let me check out. It's probably not even activated. First mistake, some hidden switch, maybe a dead man's handle. The thing was ticking, going to blow in 5 seconds. No time to defuse. You could have thrown yourself on it, been a dead hero. Instead, you slammed shut the case and threw it down the hall with all your strength. Toward the restrooms, the second mistake. Look, Tracy, a brief, and of course it's a mother and child. And so, restroom, rest in pieces. So, it wasn't your fault that Nut showed up with a bomb, but all the blame was laid at your doorstep. You were a hot potato burning on the skillet, and the Army wanted no part of you. Here you can see the headline. Army bomb expert kills mother, child. You floated aimlessly and finally hooked up with the Hulkbusters. You saw a chance to atone for your mistakes. But your every effort ended up with failure, like when those muties escaped with the Hulk. That was an X Factor, which I have covered. I do have a playlist with the Hulk. I hear your mind crying out. I just want a chance, you say. That's all I ask. And so, love these 3 panels here, kind of. You'll have your chance, Saunders, a chance to make up for your failures. You shall become a redeemer. So, all right, we're back here to the action. I shot him again, and this time I could tell they were starting to show signs of stress. I was getting to them. Then I realized that they were going to get me first. Captain Marvel, the Kree hero I used to switch bodies with, fought robots all the time. What would he do right then? Then I remembered Marv's dead. Not very comforting. So, and at that moment I saw something that was comforting. So here we have Hulk coming in and grabbing him and bringing that robot down. You can hear all the sound effects here. And the arm goes out, the boot, and then the torso. So he tunneled underground to surprise him. He's getting real sneaky these days. It's making me nervous. And so here's tossing the head. And Hulk comes out. Next, So during this time, you can see McFarlane's not really inking. He's just dashing in marks. Eventually, of course, McFarlane will do a very good job with the inking, or adding more blacks. But for now, he just adds just a few blacks. It's mostly just doing the ticks. Uh-oh, the robots say here. And so they throw Betty here. Oh, that's not good. And so Rick continues. Curly and Moe seemed to decide that the Hulk needed their full attention. So to have all his hands free, Curly tossed Betty aside. When Betty landed, she landed hard and went unconscious. I started toward her, and that's when I heard it. And the Hulk screams out her name and goes, Betty! I thought, geez, before Bruce sounded like the Hulk, and now the Hulk sounds like Bruce. So help me, I don't know which is scarier. So, great effect here. Just McFarlane, man, he's so good. I really wish he would draw more. Whoever sent you to is dead, he says, and he jumps toward them, but they shoot him in the face here. Once a blast like this wouldn't even have slowed him down. Now, though, he needed a moment to pull himself together. The Grey Hulk is weaker, by the way, in case, just to give you a little bit of explanation. The Green Hulk is stronger, but the Grey Hulk is more cunning, smarter in a way. But only a moment, continues Rick. And so Hulk says, I hate fighting stupid robots. You don't scream or bleed or nothing. It's no fun. Come on, say something. And he uses one robot to beat the other one. They didn't have to say anything, especially when they shot Hulk through with enough current to light up Cincinnati. So here they are trying to electrocute him. I hate to admit it, but these metal monsters were absolute bad brass. And here you see them tossing Hulk here. Though I never had the nerve to tell him, I'd secretly been glad that the Hulk's strength had been reduced. I figured he'd be less capable of wholesale destruction, maybe even more controllable. But as I saw those robots pile tons of construction junk on him, I suddenly got a real nostalgic for old Greenskin. Our team could have used him, but he was nothing except a memory. And so, now we go to the next one. Who am I? Funny you should ask. Your name is Samuel John Larroquette. And so, when you were a boy, your favorite toy was an old refrigerator with the door removed. You pretended it was a submarine or a rocket ship or other amazing conveyances. Most kids outgrow these fantasies. But not you. You grew up and lived to them. The world was an area of challenges. And the only thing you enjoyed more than conquering your environment, and so here we see him scuba diving, going up a mountain, and trekking down a rainforest, was boasting about your triumphs. So you became a college professor, man in his world, a seminar captive audience galore. So then you made your mistake, didn't you? You allowed a student to make you a captive of huge brown eyes and a laugh like wind chimes. Her name was Carolyn Permenter. The dean of students warned you about getting involved. Cracker, you thought, and ignored him. Carolyn's main interest was oceanography, which was fine because you felt as if you could swim in those eyes of hers. She loved so many things, dancing and skin diving. She loved skin diving. And eventually she loved you. The dean of students caught wind of it and called you on the carpet. Discussions did not go well. You can see him just punching the guy. You blew your tenure in your academic career. The relationship with Caroline turned ugly. When you broke up, you swore you'd stay in touch. You lied, of course. So, I love the magenta, by the way. I just love the use of magenta. And so we continue here. You delved into the private sector, eventually winding up with Argo Industries, but your hard-nosed attitude brought you in constant conflict with your superiors. Your last expedition resulted in the hideous death of two of your people, and when the earthquake struck, the very planet had turned against you. Your bosses blamed you for the death. So did you, secretly, but you couldn't punch yourself. So here, he's taking out on the other guy. Then came the Hulkbusters. Your reunion with Carolyn, now a scientist, also seemed to bode well. And then she died uselessly in a training maneuver. And to this day, although you blame the Hulk and Doc Samson, you share the blame as well. You believe that somehow you should have saved her. And now I hear your mind crying out. Everyone's always tried to beat me down, tell me what to do. But I've hung tough, and I have to use that toughness to make up for all the screw-ups I've made. And you shall be tougher, harder than ever. You'll be a rock. So we got the Redeemer, and now we have the Rock. This is, of course, prior to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, and by the way, I have that story serialized. That was during John Byrne's run, and I do have that included in the Hulk playlist. So, alrighty here. Rick Jones continues, I cradle Betty in my arms, wondering if I should make tracks or make a will. And then the Hulk ripped through all that metal and stuff, and he looked royally ticked. And suddenly I realized it didn't matter how strong he was. So we see the Hulk here, and we see Rick and Betty right over here. I know they sort of blend with the backgrounds. As long as he was strong enough, and he goes, nice try, as he hurls toward them. He went after Mo, and I don't know, kind of shredded him. He just dismantled that sucker. Love the black use here. And then he laughed an ugly laugh, like a wheezing freight train, and he said to Curly, hungry? And so you can see him grab that weapon, and then he punches that thing through. You just look at this, blang. Eat this, and he puts in and just fires at it, destroying it. It's nice to see someone who enjoys his work. Peter David's humor, it's quite the trope. I really enjoy it. I just, man, oh man, Todd McFarlane, I wish he drew more. I really do. I know he's, you know, I know that he went after the money, and that's fine, man. This is the U.S. You know, we're a capitalistic society, so he goes after the money, which is fine. But unfortunately, you know, to run his toy empire and his little media empire, he gave up drawing. He used to do at least covers for Spawn, but can't even get that. So it's unfortunate, but anyway. He flipped the van upright, and I waited for him to ask how Betty is. I heard him call out earlier. I know he cares, but instead, the Hulk says, I'm going to get some food. Worked up an appetite. And Rick says, hold it. What about Betty? You did this all for her. Don't you see? Don't you want to see it if she's all right? Don't you? And Hulk says, get it straight, Jones. I beat up some robots who thought they were tougher than me, period. I don't care about Banner's wife. Maybe he has feelings, obligations toward her, but not me. Never me. Got it? And so, in my time, I feared the Hulk, defended him, hidden him, healed him, escaped him, but I have never hated him until now. So, great panel here. Look at all these beautiful ticks here. I split out a curse at him. He turned to look at me. He even seemed surprised as I reamed him out of fury, choking my voice. Years of bottled up bile poured out of me. I thought, Rico, you made your last mistake. And then, real quiet, he said, get her covered, keep her warm. I'll get food for all of us, he says. Then he was gone. Even stranger, I was still there. Again, love the use of blacks here. It's beautiful when he does it because he's been just doing the marks. So to see him do blacks, it's very refreshing. So and so we get here perfect, simply perfect, and so we see the leader here. It's all exactly as I planned. I've slowed down the Hulk's progress and sown furthers further seeds of dissent as he laughs here. Love the vertical panels, as I said. By returning Betty Banner to him, and while she slows them down, you, you, t- you, my two new creations, will steal a gamma bomb for me. You shall help provide the building blocks of a new empire for me to get rid of the Hulk. And do you want to get rid of the Hulk, don't you? Yes, must get rid of him. Make up for mistakes. We've all have mistakes to atone for. I, your leader, for all the times the Hulk has beaten me. And you for your personal failures that led to disgrace and death. But all of this shall be atoned for you. Sorry, by you. My rock and my redeemer. So here you can see them in their new things here. Rock and Redeemer in action. Bruce and Betty and the Hulk have it out. All this in Gamma Bomb's Run. The Incredible Hulk 344 from 1988. I have two versions of this comic book. I have a beat up version that I had from the time that it came out, and then one that's a near mint because I wanted to get a nice copy. So I do have two of them, but great cover here. McFarlane does not. He's done inking, I believe, during this time. He's going into Amazing Spider-Man. His Hulk run is almost over, so we have Bob Wyacek who does the inking of the cover and on the inside, but he does pretty faithful adaptation of McFarlane. I think Marvel during this time realized that they had someone with skill that people really gravitated to. So great cover here. Like I said, look at this. Just, I love it. So, all right. So we got a guy here on we have a base here, most likely Gamma base, but we're not told where we are or anything. We start with a quote here. Another such victory over the Romans and we are undone from the Plutarch. So this guy here, he goes, man, was she worth it? I mean, so I exaggerated a little, told her I was a lieutenant, had an important job. So what? I mean, I am the base's first line of defense. I'll make brass eventually. And boy, was she worth it. And look at him, just kind of all. As I mentioned before, Todd McFarlane is not inking it, but you can see that he must have laid pretty detailed pencils because Wycheck is putting in all the lines here already. So so he goes, huh, as this truck is coming. He's like, halt, this is a military outpost. State your business. And they open the door and hits the poor guy here. And out comes the Redeemer. And he goes, we're here to steal a gamma bomb. Honest. And then punches the guy out or tosses him out or whatever here. And Redeemer says, boss, sentry's been disposed of without a shot being fired. And so, of course, we have the leader. This is kind of what the leader looks like during this time here. Kind of the big brain instead of the longer one. And the leader says, good, conserve your ammo. You'll need it. Adjust your chest camera. My view's a little fuzzy. And here, hey, boss, why don't you just use those fun pink humanoids of yours for this job? Um, and the leader says, because they're immediately identifiable with me. The world thinks the leader is dead. No need to send up a flare. Unless, Redeemer, you and Rock think you can't handle it. And Redeemer says, ha, what you think, Rock? Up for some murder and mayhem? And I really don't like Larroquette's just uh, it, it's all right. They can't all be home runs, right? So just like Chris Claremont with the Brood, they can't all be home runs. Sometimes, you know, this is what you get. So Rock says, "Quit screwing around. Let's just do it." And Redeemer says, "I hear you, Rock. We'll do it all right." And he must say, "Yeehaw!" And the truck busts in. I can't believe a base would be so easily taken care of. Gotta love comic books. All right. And so you can see him punching through here. All right, alert the whole blasted base. And he fires. And look at these rockets he has here. For all the good it'll do ya. And then shoots and then black. Again, I understand that Wycheck uses probably a bit of a heavy he's probably using a pen most likely, but like I said, he is putting in all the work. McFarlane really, like I said, must have done detailed pencils here. And so, um, Pyrrhic Victory, a turning point in the life of the Hulk, brought to you by Peter David, writer, Todd McFarlane, penciler, Bob Wycheck is our inker. I want to bring into here the Bob Harris. Bob Harris was the editor during this time. Of course, he would become the editor in chief that pretty much fired Chris Claremont from X-Men to give it to Jim Lee, who would just end up leaving and going to Image anyway. So, and then Tom DeFalco was the editor in chief at this time before Bob Harris would actually replace him. Bob Harris would actually end up also being the X-Men editor. So, lots of stuff going on at this time, but um and so we have here Bruce and Betty here. Now, this one isn't being narrated by Betty. Okay, so Betty's the narrator here. He feels so good, his chest against my cheek, the damp cloth cleaning my face. I want to tell him, Bruce, I'm pregnant, but I'm afraid. Afraid of what he'll say. Afraid of breaking the spell of blissful silence between us. Does he want me back? If he knows about the baby, he'll feel he has to. I can't tell him. Not yet. Oh, Bruce, what are you thinking? So, nice little page here of the two of them sort of cuddling here. Total McFarlane-esque. Like I said, the pencils had to have been tight because there's no way that they're loose and then Wycheck is just doing all these lines um without McFarlane being putting them in there. So and so Bruce thinks here, she ran out on me. I should resent her terribly, yet all I can think of is how overjoyed I am to have her back. But as a scientist, I'm trained to question everything, to accept nothing at face value. And even at face value, this doesn't make sense, he says. So, Betty vanished over a month ago, and now when Rick, Clay, and I are heading to Yuma, Arizona, where the gamma bombs are being stored, she shows up, chased up by giant robots, no less. It's obviously a delaying tactic. Brought on by whom? What's worse? I don't care. So Betty sort of is still hurt from, and he goes, "Hi, Bruce, miss me?" Betty, I see you're letting your hair grow. Um, and she's like, "You like it?" So when you see the speech balloon kind of like this, it displays that she's a little bit out of it. So, um, I love your hair very much. I'm so glad to to see your hair, he says. So, and then again, Betty's narrating here. Should I be like Bruce, hide my emotions in a shell? What would that be like? She says. And so here's a RoboCop. They're in the movies here. So we have Rick Jones and then Clay Quartermain here. Clay's a little bit upset because he wants to continue with the mission, but um, Rick says here, "Oh, for pity's sake, Clay, he and Betty needed some time together. Delaying things a day isn't gonna kill us, is it?" So Clay, I said, and you can see them walking here. I heard you, Rick. Look, I'm happy to see Betty too, but the timing, I keep thinking it's a move to slow us down. And if somebody's slowing us down, it means we're in a race and we didn't even know. I should have been firm with Bruce, but if I get him mad, he'll just bottle it up and the Hulk will take it out on me. I don't need that. My skull's still ringing from last night. And Rick says, which still leaves $1 million question. Once we get to Yuma, what are we going to do? Oh, that's easy. We have to show the world at large what's there. I love this. This is just really cool. I like this, the inking, the way it does. Even here, sort of. I don't know. I like this. You don't see McFarlane doing very often dark. And Clay continues, "We're going to steal a gamma bomb." And so here you can see the military still trying to stop Redeemer in his one truck. So, and you can see here Rock kind of coming out from the back of the truck. Again, I'm not big on Rock here, or the way at least, but like I said, they can't all be winners. So, all right, so you can see this here. He's kind of like brings these like pointy things, so he's able to shapeshift himself, and now he's whirling around like a top and just wrecking everything here. You can see him taking out this tank here, and after he disposes of it, he's going into the base here, and you can just see that the Redeemer and Rock are just kicking ass here, just getting rid of everything. And you can see this hand here, and although we're not being shown anyone dead per se, although you do see this hand, it doesn't say they're dead. They could easily be unconscious. So you can see that Redeemer and Rock have gone through everybody here. So back to Bruce and Betty here. So Betty's talking here and says, "I don't know what to say, Bruce. I was in a motel room in West Virginia, and then some crazy robot grabbed me. I passed out. The next thing I knew, I was being chased through the woods, and you guys found me. I know it sounds insane." And Bruce says, "I believe quite a lot. Remember who you're talking to, Betty?" And she goes, "I remember my husband." And again, here and continuing the narration, "I can't tell him about the baby, not till I know how it is between us." And Bruce says, "Betty, I understand why you ran away, but you should at least have left me a note, something. I was so worried." And Betty says, "I did, at the hospital." And he says, "Really? I never saw it. Do you remember what it said?" And Betty says, "It was a lifetime ago. Something like, 'My dearest Bruce, I love you with all my heart, but I can't stand living with fear anymore. I have to try and have a normal life, one without gamma rays and spies." And Bruce interrupts, "And Hulks?" And she says, "Yes, and Hulks." So, real quick here, I love these things, these McFarlaneisms here, where you can see a background, but there's no detail, but you can tell exactly what this is here. It's so well done. This is a big reason why Todd McFarlane became so popular. Why guys like me were just all over him and Jim Lee. I wasn't big on Rob Liefeld, but I thought I had to like him because just the way he was portrayed. But I never really cared about Rob Liefeld, to be honest. But I was Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, and Todd McFarlane always. So, all right. And Betty, you can see her pulling away, and Bruce, of course, is Betty, are you pulling away, Betty? Are you that afraid of me? And she answers, afraid of a man who's considers emotions so horrible that he can only show them if it's through somebody or something else. And Bruce says, I love these huge John Lennon glasses that they put on him. And Bruce says, it's not that I'm afraid to show emotions, Betty, just what can happen if they get out of control. Don't you understand? For me, getting upset or angry has always gone hand to hand with violence. First with my father, and then with the Hulk. And here she is sitting on a swing set, and Betty says, but Bruce, you've gone overboard. You're afraid of violence, so you've locked everything away. I don't think you married me out of love. It's more like an obligation, a sense of this should be done. Scientists hate loose ends. And Bruce says, yes, we do, don't we? So where do we go from here? And she asks, do you love me, Bruce, with everything I have to give? And then, of course, we can continue the narration here. Yes, I guess you do, and that's always been the problem, hasn't it, my love? Bruce, it's not enough. And he goes, what do you want from me? Something you can't give. Peter David is always so I'm a huge Peter David fan. By the way, he has health problems, and I think he has a GoFundMe account. If you can help something, please feel free to do that. But Peter David is a fantastic writer. He does mostly little funny bits, but this dude really knows how to construct. He had a very long, lengthy run on Hulk, and I'm gonna cover as much of it as I can. But I love this building that he's doing. This is really since he took over with issue 321, I'm sorry, 331. So he's been he's had about a little over a year now, and you can see that given the chance to breathe, he's creating a huge universe. He's gonna be around for a while. So the things that he's gonna do, they're it's cool. So, all right. And she's like, come on, the so McFarlane-esque. This is why I think they were detailed. And again, black silhouette, white silhouette, them also in silhouette, but in purple. I mean, Jesus, 3 silhouettes. Oh, it's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And so, she says, you'll see. Oh, this panel here, I absolutely love it. So we continue the narration. Now more than ever, I know I can't tell him, not yet, so I lead him up into the woods until I find a small secluded clearing, and then I sit. And Bruce is like, Betty, what are you doing? And he says, it occurred to me, Bruce, that you and I have gone as far as we can. I spent years loving you, leaving you, crying over you, fighting with you, and all because of him. There's no point anymore. So we're going to sit until sunset, and then the Hulk and I are going to have a chat. And so you can see here, sunset is coming. And Bruce here again, silhouette-ish. Just McFarlane also knows how to construct silhouettes. I mean, damn it, look at this. Just amazing stuff here. And Bruce says, Betty, that's insane. I won't stand here and permit that. You don't know what he could do. And love, this is a typical McFarlane panel here. No one knows better than I what he can do. And so she continues here. This is what I want, Bruce. Walk away if you wish, but if you do, I swear you'll never see me again here. So, and now at the van here, Clay's like, they're not here. That's just swell. Now what? Oh, sorry, that was Rick. And we'll find them, says Clay. You think they know there's only an hour till sundown? And Clay says, I hope so. At least it's a full moon tonight. The Hulk should be in one of his better moods. So this is kind of establishing that the phases of the moon do affect how the Hulk behaves. So we got the leader looking at the destruction caused by his Redeemer and Rock here. Excellent, gentlemen. 500 feet due west, and you will find an elevator that will bring you to the Gamma Bomb storage facility. Go to it, Rock and Redeemer. You're justifying my faith in you. And now the leader thinks to himself, great, I just absolutely like this here. Fools, you serve your purpose. I'll only need you a while longer. And then again, you have your uses, and I should know no one uses others better than the leader here. But of course, the leader is being watched. And here in kind of in silhouette here, we see someone here. Does that fool leader know that we're watching him? Of course not. He's only the means to an end, that end being the Hulk. So we're setting up something else here. So, and here we continue with Betty. We stare at each other wordless for an hour, and then Bruce twitches, moans, and dashes into the woods. He wants to shield me from the change. It's sweet. Late, but sweet. And you can see him, and a tear, beautifully done here of no tear, a tear forming, the tear falling, and just, even still, just, that looks awesome. Wipe away that tear. It's a sign of weakness, and he'd hate that. And this panel here, oh my goodness gracious, is this not so freaking amazing? And Hulk says, that's better. So Banner found you. Well, now his puny life is complete. And she goes, yes, you found me again, Bruce. And Hulk is like, don't call me that. I'm not. Puny Banner, so you've said over and over through the years. And me think thou dost protest too much. And Hulk is like, oh, thou dost thou. That is cool. I love this page. I think this is a very well done page. Bravo, Todd McFarlane. Yeah, just wonderful. Bruce, Betty. And Betty says, it's Clay and Rick. Can we talk somewhere? And Hulk is like, why should I? And Betty says, I understand if you don't want to, if talking to me makes you nervous. And Hulk is like, don't pull that reverse psychology crap with me. All right, we'll have your little talk. And so off they go. It's about time I got you out of my hair once and for all, as the two of them watch them leave. And another great panel here. Oh, I wonder what this would have looked like if McFarlane would have inked it himself completely, but all right. So we continue here. And so Redeemer says here, this is a lot of work, leader. A shame uh you couldn't have just matter transported one of the bombs out. And he says, the leader says, I have my reasons, Redeemer, not the least of which is that molecularly disassembling a bomb might set it off prematurely. The bomb should be 5 floors below. Soldiers are waiting for the elevator to descend. And Rock says, then let's be elsewhere when it does. Like you're thinking, Rock. And so down they go here, down the hatch. And so here are the soldiers waiting. And here they come as they crash right through the ceiling. I'd have thought of a new shape for casing Saunders. Want to see? Sure would, Rock. And so look at this. Now this is a little bit cooler here. I'm not gonna read all these things, but here is Rock kind of disassembling or dismantling, and here's Redeemer. So they take care of everyone here, and you can see him smashing through, and here are the bombs. So our stakes are getting higher and higher. So Hulk is a jerk, and so look at this. He took her to a freaking mountain. Now, real quick, I love this panel as well because it's a splash page per se with the other 2 panels in here. So pretty cool here. So Betty's gonna continue her narration. Notice it's a full moon again because it's always a full moon, regardless of all the things. It's always a full moon. So, So she says, if I tell him about the baby, how will he react? Will he laugh in my face or hold me? It depends, I guess, on whether he's totally separate from Bruce or part of Bruce that he denies. Either way, I won't tell him if I throw the pregnancy in his face. It's like I'm giving up, admitting he won't accept me for myself. I might win, but at the cost of self-respect, a few tattered shreds I have left anyway. Lord, it's cold up here. And Hulk says, if you're going to start crying, forget it. That won't cut any ice with me. No, I don't have any tears left. And forget about whining over how you got hurt a while back. That was Banner's fault. So, oh, look at this. Beautiful, beautiful. He shouldn't have been holding you when he changed. And so, this, look, oh, my goodness gracious. I am so sad when McFarlane ended up leaving. I know he had a very successful run in Amazing Spider-Man, and perhaps he wasn't interested in I know that him and Peter David has some problems, and perhaps he wasn't interested in the Mr. Fix-It portion of where the Hulk was going to go, but man, dude was made for Hulk. If you don't think the McFarlane Hulk is the best Hulk, it's top 5. I know that a lot of people have drawn Hulk, but who visually has done a better job than Todd McFarlane on the Hulk? I don't know. To me, he's number 1. Yes, I understand. We've had Del Keown and Gary Frank and Mike Deodato Jr. We've had Sal Buscema. We've had recently, I like the guy that drew him on Immortal Hulk. I love the brow, and I think that he's the closest to bring back that brow. I know Ed McGuinness did the Red Hulk, but to me, it's Todd McFarlane. This brutish, how he draws him, it's just awesome. Anyway, we'll continue with the story because I could talk about Todd McFarlane's wonderful art, and I should show you here again. Same idea as above, a splash page with a panel here. So look at that. Oh. All right. So let's see here. Betty says, "It's not about that either." "Well, what then? What do you want from me?" says the Hulk. "Just accept me." And Hulk says, "Accept you? That's a laugh. You and Banner and Jones, all you've ever wanted to do is get rid of me. And I'm supposed to forget all that? Accept me? Ha!" he says. So Betty continues here. "You don't understand. I'm not going to fight you anymore. But I won't be afraid of you either," she says. And Hulk says, "You were afraid enough to run off with that Ramon character. He your idea of a real man, he show you a good time?" And Betty says, "You sound jealous." Ridiculous. Answer the question. That is awesome. So again, another splash page here, with the other pages here. That's just awesome. Look at this. Ridiculous. Answer the question. That Peter David is an incredible writer. He is in my top 10 of best writers of all time. I have just about everything he has ever done. I have his complete Hulk run. Every single issue of his Hulk run I have. So Betty says, "You're wrong, okay? All that time after Ramon took me to the hospital, there was nothing between us because I couldn't stop thinking about you, Bruce. Oh, sorry, just about Bruce. And I've come to realize that I can't get rid of Bruce any more than Bruce can get rid of you. You're both too deeply rooted." So she's talking here, and I again love these McFarlaneisms. "That's where you and I are different. I'll never stop wanting to get rid of Banner." And she says, "You can't. He's a part of you, and he is a part of me. That's the part of you you'll always deny, and he'll deny you. I'm just tired of being caught in the middle. You both have to." And then he cuts her off here, and then we get another splash with a couple. "We don't both have to nothing. Save the psychobabble for Doc Samson. I'm not Banner. Never was. Never will be." And look at this other incredible. Oh, look at this. Just this brutish Hulk. What would this have been like if McFarlane would have been inking this entire page, or this, the next few issues, because he's done inking the Hulk, unfortunately. He's saving it all for Spider-Man, which, by the way, I do have a run, or I do have a playlist with the McFarlane, so check it out. "I sometimes see a little of you in Bruce when we argue, when we're intimate, just glimpses, and then he covers it up. Let me see a little of Bruce in you," Betty says. And Hulk is like, "That's it. I'm out of here. You said you'd talk. I lied. I do that sometimes." And so again, it isn't working, but I can't fail at this like I failed at everything else in my life. I can't. So, and again, another splash with other panels. This was just composed so wonderfully. Look at this in silhouette, but you can totally get the picture. And then, this is so good here. So, and so Betty says here, "No, I'm not finished. You will stay here and you will talk to me. You're not just anger and rage. You have Bruce's real love and passions locked in you too. It's not fair," she says. So you can see her pointing at him here. And now we got the Hulk. "Nothing's fair, kiddo." And Hulk says, Betty says, "Give me some of Bruce, please. Just a glimpse of the man hidden inside of you. Please forget it. I'm not giving you anything. Not a thing, he says. I absolutely look at this. I love oh, McFarlane is perfect for the Hulk. Perfect for the Hulk. And so she says, but you already have Betty. Sorry, that was Betty. And Hulk says, what do you mean? I. No, you swore you wouldn't. I. You promised yourself. I. No. And then in small, pregnant. Look at that. Just blast you. That is just so absolutely great here. So, I know what you'll say. It's Banner's child, not yours. It doesn't matter. Go ahead. Fly away. I give up. Bruce and you are two different people. You win. You always win. Me, I just don't care anymore. And she laughs. And look at Hulk just, and he says, I thought you didn't have any tears left. I lied. I do that sometimes, she says. And next, closing curtain, our double-sized finale. Incredible Hulk, number 345. This is essentially Todd McFarlane's last issue of Hulk. He does the layouts for the next one with Eric Larson. But this is essentially, like I said, his last issue. He will do a and I've already covered it, Amazing Spider-Man 328, I think, that features Hulk. So and that was completely McFarlaneized. So all right. By the way, this is from 1988. So, all right. So we have this little town here called Middleton. It's a dying town. It lets us know here. Look at this dwindling population. Most towns of 5,000 people don't have even buildings this big. Most of the people would work elsewhere. So, all right, this is a minister kind of giving, we'll say a priest giving his mass here. So, and so he's preaching here, and after he's done, he's alone with his thoughts here, and he says, or he thinks here, they all sit there so politely and smile, and there are fewer and fewer every day. They don't need a pastor here. They need St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. His phone rings here, and he introduces himself. Father McCall here. May I help you? Oh, Vicar, it's good to hear from you. What? Financial irregularities, you say? Why, yes, of course. An accountant may just be what we need to straighten things out. So, end of the week. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. So, hey, money disappearing, hey, that's nothing new. So, all right. And so here we are. It says here elsewhere. So we're kind of going, I think, through the life of this little town here. And so it looks like we have a husband and wife here. The husband's waking up the wife. She is a public prosecutor, and she says here, oh, Vic, I'm sick of this. I feel so hemmed. I'm tired of defending crummy people over crummy things. And he says, that's life in Middletown. Yeah, well, maybe it's time we got out of this dying town, she says here. So here we have another one here. So what Peter David is giving us is a little exposition of the stuff here, of people just kind of living their lives in this small town. This girl here, I can't stand it. You guys don't trust me, like, at all. I'm trapped around here. And so it looks like we have mother and father or grandparents. They are drawn kind of old. So, and here we go, kind of Peter David, or just like I said, exposition here. So, and here's the leader here. He's got some kind, we'll call it like a tablet, using today's terms here. And he's like, leader, old man, you outdone yourself. Banner and company, the entire town, they'll be running around like mice in a maze while you've had your time to plan everything in leisure. And just think, your mother wanted you to be a plumber. And so he presses a button and it says newspaper. So perhaps related to all this stuff here. And so we got our title closing curtain, and we've got Rick Jones with oh my gosh, I forgot his name, but it'll come to me. Clay Quartermain. And I love this cartooniness that Todd McFarlane does. He, as you can tell, is the penciler but not the inker. And here we are. In fact, he's just doing breakdowns here. By this time, he was already doing a Spider-Man. If I remember correctly, Amazing Spider-Man 302, which, by the way, I have a playlist and I have covered, had already come out during this time. So Todd was doing two things. So Peter David actually wanted him to stay till issue 350, but he just couldn't, and then had a big falling out with Peter David. So, all right, here. And this is being narrated here. And Bruce Banner is narrating here. So he says here, I rarely allow myself to smile or show any real happiness because however illogical it sounds, it always seems that disaster hits whenever things go well for me. My mother would have said it's tempting the evil eye. Nevertheless, at Rick's expression, I actually laugh. The next instant, Clay slams the van to a halt, and we all tumble heels over our heads. And you can see here Clay pulling out his gun. What happened? What is it? What? And Banner continues here. If I weren't such a rational person, I would have learned not to tempt fate by now. From my new appropriate vantage point, I repeat, a baby. And Clay says, a baby, that's great, really great. I'm happy for you guys. Rick, if you ever shout like that again and we're not under attack, I'll run you over. And Banner continues narrating here. I can't help but notice that Betty looks less than pleased about the pregnancy. I want to ask why, but I'm afraid of the answer, so instead I smile like a fool while Rick babbles about names. And so Clay says, hey, quiet down a moment. I just heard something on the radio. So they all are shocked by what they hear. Look at Bruce, goodness gracious. Oh, the Todd McFarlane is awesome. I wish, and I say this all the time, I really wish he would draw more. Unfortunately, I'm a capitalist. I'm all for people making their money. But, dude, enough is enough. Leave somebody else to do the toy company and go back to drawing, for the love of God. So, the radio says the identity of the thieves is still unknown, and as security lid has been clamped down on the Yuma military base. What is known, although officials continue to deny it, is that the target of the raid was a gamma ray bomb, the devastating weapon that was responsible for the creation some years ago of the Incredible Hulk. So, of course, everyone is like, that's not good. So, all right, so I'm not going to read some of these things here. Again, it's just people living their lives in Middleton. And this guy says, the radio's gone dead. Again, love how McFarland does these little vertical panels. McFarland and, oh my goodness, Frank Miller are the masters of vertical panels. And here the leader laughs, and here in his tablet again, or is that in the computer? It's got radio. So, all right. And so Hulk continues narrating, or Bruce here. Power has always frightened me, ever since I saw how my father hideously abused the power he had over Mother and me. Others, however, revel in it. Clay, for example, confidently uses his magic shield ID on the assumption that the soldiers won't be aware of his renegade status. And so here you can see Clay pulling the ID. A correct assumption. We stare in horror out of the windshield. The devastation is beyond belief. What happened here? And so, hard to believe the military wouldn't be knowing what when there's a officer from SHIELD down here. So, and this general, I will assume it's a general. We got our butts kicked we got our butts kicked is what happened. I'm glad SHIELD's taking an interest in this, although frankly, I wish we'd met under less inglorious circumstances. And Clay says, "Can you show me around, General Klassen? If I have to, I have to." And so they're showing him here. So this was from last issue. I have a Hulk playlist from Rock and Redeemer. So, Banner continues narrating. "If I didn't know better, I think the Hulk was responsible. The door ripped away like tissue paper, and inside is a sight that makes the nightmare of my life until now seem like a light daydream. General, can you describe the attackers?" "Better, I got tapes." "Bruce, you okay?" Bruce. Of course, he's looking at all the bombs. So, and of course, we got Rock and Redeemer. So, which they of course know as Saunders and Larroquette. And so, so they're wondering what happened to them, and now all of a sudden we've got this Hulkish creature here, and we'll see later on that it's a fake Hulk. It's a robot here, and what they're doing is training. And Rock says, "I'm getting tired of these stupid games. I don't want to rip up practice house. I want to try myself against the real thing." And the leader says, "Patience, Rock. The Hulk should be here within hours. Just sit tight. All is going as planned," he says. So, yeah, what's making me nervous is babysitting this gamma bomb, says Saunders, or Redeemer. And the leader says, "Don't worry, Redeemer. You won't be there when it goes off." "One thing, leader," says Rock. "After we've killed the Hulk, is that when you disconnect me from this getup? I don't want to spend the rest of my life in a floating rock shell." "Oh, you won't, Rock. You have my word on it." And of course now he's got to think this is lie to Rock and Redeemer. So, all right. And an open panel here. "I'm having trouble grasping the reality of it. Hundreds of gamma bombs, all from my design. The potential destruction. Good Lord, what could I have been thinking when I first created it? Could it be that there was some small Hulkish part of me urging me on even before the accident, that the Hulk wasn't created by the blast so much as unshackled?" So Peter David's really going to explore all this during his run. We're still in the beginning of his run. This dude is going to be around for a long time here. And so Clay says, "Our best move is obvious. Wait until dark and then have the Hulk go in and trash all the remaining bombs." And then he thinks that sorry, I was just going to tell you what it is. It's just sometimes easier to read it than because it basically takes as long. So Clay thinks here comes the Bruce speech, where he gets all stubborn because I suggested using brute strength in general and the Hulk in particular to solve the problem. And to his surprise, Bruce actually says, yes, you're right, Clay. They must be destroyed." So he is actually agreeing with him. And so the radio now, we got the leader's voice coming on, and look at everybody here. "Hello, we'll return to our easy listening station after a few words from the leader." "Yes, the leader, Dr. Banner. By this time, you've discovered the Yuma-based destruction. So sue me. The bomb, in case you're wondering, is currently situated in a small city called Middleton. about an 8-hour drive from your present position, less if you exceed 55. The speed limit back then was 55. It's set to detonate at 10 p.m. You have to you have that long to get there, find the bomb, and dispose of it before the fabric of that little community is permanently destroyed. So, and Rick says he's buffling. He wants to distract us. We gotta stay here so the Hulk can destroy those bombs. And Clay's like, absolutely. What kind of a fool does he take us for? And I love this done in the screen tones here. And Bruce says, I'll tell you what kind of a fool. We're not. The kind that takes risks with people's lives at stakes. Clay, find a place on a map that gets us there before it's too late. Don't sit there staring. Move, he says. And so off they go. Very cartoony. Love this. So now we go kind of back to some of the stuff that is happening. We're just kind of move in because this is just stuff here. So we can see that girl. This is like her boyfriend here, and he's just like, let's blow this town. I'll swim by tonight at 10 and sneak out back, and off we go. And she's like, you mean it? Oh, Lou. So they're going to leave at the same time, the bomb. And so the priest here watching this, Mrs. Harrison, this is Mr. Fishbean, the principal. I thought you should know. Oh, this is somebody else, not the priest here. So this must be the mom or something kissing him. So, and here comes a door-to-door encyclopedia person who back in the day, and so she closes at him, and this guy's also like, man, I'm leaving this town too. So, all right. And so we're in court, and this lady's like trying to defend this guy, and finally she's like, this guy's guilty. And of course, that's contempt of court, so she ends up going into jail. And the minister here is praying because, of course, he's the one that stole the money. So he's like, about some guidance. I love this panel here, by the way. It's very cool. And so they're like I said, they're kind of heading that way, and these are the people kind of working construction. So, all right. And here comes the leader and pressing the button here. So, and here comes Shield, or Clay, Bruce, Rick, and Betty. And they're like, Mr. Mayor, we're with Shield. You have to evacuate Middleton. There's a bomb of major proportions in this city, and we can't guarantee your safety. They're like, is this a gag? I suppose I'm supposed to evacuate a town on the say-so of strangers in blue jumpsuits. I told her we're Shield, a secret organization. She's like, I never heard of you. See, that proves we're a secret. Where's this bomb from? And he says, a raid at Yuma Army Base. A raid, odd. It's not in the paper. So, and again, they're looking at the back. So, and of course, nothing is working here. And they're like, he's calling it in, and they're like, you've never heard of Shield? Oh, you have? Disbanded years ago. And of course, Bruce knows what's up. So he grabs the phone. Leader, it's you, isn't it? Intercepting phone calls, jamming broadcasts, faking the paper. It's all you. And it is. So he's telling Bruce, you better get out of town before you're belted by gamma rays. And so the mayor has them leave. So, and so they're going to go and search for it here. Again, we have a little bit of stuff. And the leader says, amazing what one can do with computer-generated images, and my creations don't even stutter. So he's telling people, real quick, because I'll make a comment on that. Repeating the special bullet, citizens of Middleton are warned that unauthorized vehicle is trying to incite riot. Ignore all evacuation announcements this vehicle is making. So it is amazing how in 1988 and looking at now at social media and all the misinformation, goodness gracious. And this is funny because now we use AI, and essentially he's doing computer generated images. It is insane how accurate this is in hindsight here. And so the leader says here, of course, a small percentage of easily panicked people may run. 1, perhaps 2%. Nothing I haven't allowed for. So, all right. And so we continue here. Finally, it's nighttime, and the Hulk. Look at this great transformation here. And so the Hulk busts out. And so look at that. If only Todd wasn't so rushed, this would have been, because this is a double-sized issue, just how wonderful would this have been? So, and Hulk says, cute, everyone in the van now. And he picks it up, and he is going to probably take the van far away. And look at that, to make sure they don't follow him, he breaks the wheels. It's kind of funny, the Hulk does care, and off they go. So he's going to leave them here. And Clay says he's going to contact S.H.I.E.L.D. And Betty says, Clay, you can't, you're a fugitive. And Clay says, the leader's taking nothing for granted. I can't either. Bottom line is, the leader has a gamma bomb and people's lives are at stake. We can't risk it. So Betty's like, but when those policemen report they saw the Hulk, won't that get them to evacuate? And they're like, he was gray. And it's like, So, nope, it's you're going to see here. And so we're just going to kind of move along here. And Hulk gets here, and it says, play me, Hulk. So he presses it. I have noticed that so many called villains feel constrained to lay out their plans just before and of course, this is what the leader has been doing. This recording, we've seen the leader make this recording here. And of course, Hulk recognizes the leader. And so again, we see all these different people here. The guy selling the encyclopedias, the girl, the minister, the lawyer, all these things here. And if you look at this art, I know, but it is what it is. He left layouts, and it looks like the guy that did the finishes didn't actually draw. It looks like he inked the layouts, and that is terrible. They should have gotten a better inker that would have finished this. It would have looked a lot better here. So here we go. Rock and Redeemer are gonna fight the Hulk. So here we go. The Hulk is obviously not scared of him. So I like this. This could be redrawn really well. So, and of course, there's nothing that they can do here except wait. I like that it's not a full moon. So, great panel here. Great drawing here, even if it is not up to par. Like I said, Todd's just doing the breakdowns here. And look at Redeemer shooting the Hulk, but that doesn't work. Look at this. That Hulk grabs his arm, breaking it. Oh, you can just see the pain in his. And so they're like, where's the bomb? And he's like, Rock, help me. He can't hear you. So here we go. And look at this. So he gets the spikes and starts to roll around like a top. And so Hulk takes Redeemer and love the guts here and just puts it in there kind of in between. So he kills his own partner here. Look at this. You know what, Rock? I think you killed him. Big mistake. Almost as big as, and love this little vertical panel here. Just, as hovering there long enough for me to get my hands on you. So Hulk. And so look at this. Good stuff, good stuff. But the Hulk is not going to be deterred. Look at this. Even you can see in Rock's face, look at that. Oh, that's awesome. And Hulk is like, did it hurt? You got some sort of mental link with that rocky hide? Wow, that must have been like ripping off your own arm. And look at that, he does. I just let you lie there. Okay, I could just let you lie there, not hurt you anymore. That would be the human thing to do. But I'm inhuman. You said so yourself, remember? Or maybe I need to jog your memory. And he grabs it. Look at this. Is it coming back to you? Is it? Is it? And so we hear, that's quite enough, Hulk. And it's the leader here. When I saw you dismantling my creations, I knew I had to reluctantly transport myself to intercede. And Hulk is like, at last. And the leader says, quite. This, by the way, is the bomb you've been seeking. Over 2.5 hours left until detonation. I, of course, will be long gone. And look at him. He is either making himself big or small. And you will long be dead. And maybe he... I haven't read these in forever. Maybe he shrunk the Hulk. No. Okay, he says here, okay, fine. Grow as big as the house. Grow as big as the planet. You're still dying today. So, look at that. Just smacks him here. And the Hulk is like, you can't just toss me around. So, look at that. He's trying to crush him with his boot. Look at Hulk. Oh, and so he uses his concussion blaster by clapping his hands. And so the leader's now back to normal. And he's like, Hulk is like, I was right. It was faked with a mind trick. So he was never big. But of course, here comes Rock from behind. And the bomb's about to detonate here. Hulk, look behind you. Rock's heading your way. Oh, right. Which of course he is. And look at that. We just see the shadow here. And the green blood. And look at Hulk. I'll kill you. And so leader says, I believe you would, but we must be going. And so they teleport away here. And so here comes the bomb. And so Hulk is trying to crawl his way to it to destroy it here. And of course, everybody here is waiting. Of course, we know the ending already. And so it looks like a shield has arrived here. And the Hulk continues to crawl there. Look at that. And he was almost going to make it, but there's a barrier now so that the bomb doesn't, and it's got engulfed the whole town. This guy can't get out. And he's like, I did it. Look at that. Goodbye, Hulk. And it goes off. And look at this. Bruce, Betty. And then we get this beautiful double page spread to close out the issue. So, The Incredible Hulk 346 from 1988. This is actually Todd McFarlane's true last issue on Hulk. However, he just does the layout. So McFarlane does ink this cover along with Eric Larson. Eric Larson, of course, would be from The Savage Dragon. I think this is the first collaboration of them together. So Eric Larson, during this time, I think he went on to The Punisher. So good job of McFarlane inking this. However, the insides are going to look a little different. It's mostly going to look like Eric Larson. And so, real quick, I'll go through the credits here. And you can see Peter David is the writer. He'll be a writer for quite a while. Todd McFarlane just does the layouts. Eric Larson is the penciler, and Jim Saunders is the inker here. Um, so we've got oh my gosh, Clay. And here you can see he's in a court here. So, Mr. Quartermain, do you swear that what you are about to testify is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And the title is Whys and Wheres. Oh, sorry, and Wherefore. And you can see Clay says, I do. That is a lot of medals on him. So, all right. And so you can see here, he is in a panel here. Mr. Quartermain, this is a Senate hearing, not a papal audience. You may sit. And he's like, I prefer to stand if that's all right, Mr. Chairman. They're your feet, sir. So, I understand that you have a statement to read, says this guy here. And Quartermain says, yes, sir. I wish to state that I, above all others, regret the fate that befell Middletown a week ago. So I have covered that. I have a playlist. So feel free to check that out. I started with the John Byrne run and have gone right through here. So got quite a few issues in there. It is a major tragedy, the sort of tragedy I'd hoped to forestall. When I first embarked several months ago on my quest with Rick Jones and the late Dr. Bannard, and this lady's like, they preempted my soaps for this. There used to be soap operas. And of course, this is Clay's brother here. A quest to uncover the gamma bombs being manufactured by the government. I could not in good conscience let the American public be unaware of the mass production of this hideous weapon. And it is unfortunate that it took the major calamity of Middletown's destruction to do it. So, this issue is essentially a recap of Peter David's run so far and a sort of a finish to the first major storyline before the Hulk comes back as Mr. Fix-It. Mr. Quartermain, that's a pretty speech saying how you acted and conscience and all, but it overlooks the fact that your quest was prompted by your fugitive status. And the reason you were a fugitive was because you demolished an entire government installation, namely Alpha Base. And he says, Gamma Base, sir. I had no choice, Mr. Chairman. I've been given orders that were to me repellent. Orders that, had I carried them out, would have resulted in the execution of Bruce Banner. And you can see this guy here quite surprised. That's a shocking charge, Mr. Quartermain. Who issued these orders? Was Nicholas Fury aware of them? And he's like, well... and then the lawyer here says, Senator, despite my client's questionable status as SHIELD agent, he is still technically bound by the non-disclosure agreement he signed upon first joining these. First joining. These are matters of national security. Sorry about that. And so here we go, kind of a flashback to when he had captured the Hulk. So I'm just gonna kind of just show you, and I'm gonna keep moving on. And then this was a flashback here when he was talking, and he basically says, Senator, I'll answer that question. The answer is no. Colonel Fury didn't do it. So you can still see, because McFarlane was the layout artist, that you can see a lot of McFarlaneisms here. And so outside here, you see Rick and Betty here. And Rick says, it seems like Clay's been in there for years, man. What I'd give for a Sony Walkman, MTV, anything. A Sony Walkman was a tape player you could take with you, which iPods, of course, have replaced. And Rick asks, how you feeling, Betty? And she says, nauseous. And Rick says, me too, but at least you got an excuse, you being pregnant and all. And so she goes, Rick, I'm thinking of not having the baby. And Rick looks shocked, and then she hugs him. Peter David is he's still alive. He's his health's not doing very well. He has but he definitely brings the human element I know a lot of people criticize his writing because he tends to put in jokes, but I think that's just a trope. He uses humor, but he puts in some serious stuff. I really do enjoy Peter David. Um, and so this guy says, "We've been at this for a few hours, Mr. Quartermain. Let's recap, shall we? You blew up the Gamma Base, stole a major piece of hardware, namely the battle van, and set out to find the government stockpile of gamma bombs, all because of the late Dr. Banner. May I ask, sir, what did he ever do for you?" And he says, "If it weren't for Bruce, I'd have ended up a death-bound hotshot in S.H.I.E.L.D., thinking only in abstracts. Abstracts like acceptable losses instead of people dying. About military preparedness instead of the world poised on the brink here." So these are other people kind of watching and stuff. We spooks tend to be a cloistered group. We lose touch with real world, but my long friendship with Bruce and Betty made me remember on whose behalf I'm supposed to be fighting. So, and so, just some more exposition about, average people and the harmful of weapons of mass destructions and things like that. So, Quartermain, you're not planning on entering politics, are you? Because that sounded suspiciously like a campaign speech. And he says, "Politics? Me? No." So, and look at this, Clay for president. All right. And so here we have the remnants of the town that was destroyed. So, and so it's been a week, and they're like, "Hey, we're like 3 miles away from Ground Zero. The devastation is." And then he goes, "Something's come up," and you see this. This is the priest, I believe, sort of hulkish here. So, J. Jonah Jameson as Spider-Man, which is funny because he'll be drawing Spider-Man after Todd McFarlane. And so here in the Daily Bugle, they're listening to the radio here and saying that they've concluded the hearings and there's overwhelming support for Clay Quartermain here. I love the Jonah smoking and Peter just kind of like, So, and Jonah says it's Ollie North all over again, Parker. Someone putting himself above the law and getting public to lionize him. He'll be in the White House, mark my words. So, and look at this. They asked an average woman, and of course it's Mary Jane. So, and she was married to Peter during this time, and both of them are looking at. So, all right. And so we're going to skip this part. They're basically going to ask her how'd she meet the Hulk, and we're going to get basically a big recap of this. But, their wedding and her getting sick with the Hulk and all that stuff. So then we're going to go into, when she, again, this panel is directly, so they pasted this in here. This would have been this is also pasted here. So, basically recapping the previous few issues here. And so they have here where they believe he is dead. Okay, so they watched him here. You see the Hulk and you see Bruce Banner, and they believe them dead. And of course we find other people that we dealt with in the last issue, and also you can see kind of they're hulking out. So and so this guy says, "Mrs. Banner, do you need some time to compose yourself?" She says, "No, I've had years of practice composing myself. Let's continue." So, and so now they're showing some of the bodies that they recovered here, and everybody's getting to see all these. And This looks like, I don't know, this Todd McFarlane does another general toward the end of his Amazing Spider-Man run, and it looks just like this guy here. So they're basically saying the people that are there aren't going to be new Hulks. They'll be dead in a few days from that radiation poisoning. So Clay, Rick, and Betty kind of look out, and there's a knock there. And of course, it is Nick Fury here. And he says, "Care to step outside, Clay?" And so outside here, with the news footage being released and the slick way you came across TV, there's been a massive groundswell of public support for you, Clay. The media have made you into a lone voice crying into the wilderness, trying to avert catastrophe. You and Ronald McDonald are the two most popular clowns in this country right now. You're so popular that it'd be political suicide to prosecute you for theft, destruction of government property, and all those other fun charges. Chairman's told me off the record they'll probably remand you back to S.H.I.E.L.D. for whatever actions we care to take. And he says, which means a full investigation of our own into the gamma-based mess. And he says, "And what about me?" And Nick Fury puts his arm around. He says, "You." He pinches him in the ear, or grabs him in the ear. "You'll be where I can keep an eye on you. Tell me everything that happened." So, all right, and now we got Rick Jones here. So, of course, this is kind of where Peter David starts the whole, let's be funny kind of thing here. And this guy here looks like Matt Murdock here. And he's like, "Everything, sure. I was born a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." And this guy's like, "We're not amused here." So, and so they ask him what a normal day is, and he describes all these outrageous things, which would probably lead them to believe he's joking, but he's really not, because Rick Jones has had quite the adventurous life here. So this is, of course, where from Hulk #1, where Bruce went to rescue Rick and then threw him down the thing so he wouldn't get hit by the bomb, but Bruce, of course, got hit. So, and he basically says without him, he would be dead. So, he says some good stuff about Bruce Banner, sacrifice, love, devotion, responsibility. He was his best friend, and he loved him very much. And now he's gone. So, and they're like, "Mrs. Banner, we're ready for you." And she says, "No, thank you. I've changed my mind," she says. So, as you saw there, she walked away. So, and so they ask him, "Do you believe they're dead?" And he says, "Yeah, I do." And this is kind of what they're seeing here. Just his silhouetted stuff here. And then suddenly you see the wind kind of take the radiation. That's actually what kills a lot of people in an explosion, nuclear bomb. So the nuclear bomb kills the people right immediately, but the radiation poisoning goes because the wind takes it. So, all right. And so Rick busts through this door and says, "Betty," and she says, "Well, I'm right here, Rick." "Oh, man, the desk clerk said you were at the nearest hospital, and I thought you went to." She says, "I did, but I didn't." Meaning an abortion. She says, "Why not?" And she says, "Because I've seen too much death in my life. I've lost everyone I've ever loved. Mom, Dad, Glenn, everyone. And every other time another person I loved died, I cursed and cried about the unfairness of it all." So, by the way, just these issues are old, of course. Eventually, she's going to have a miscarriage, but Peter David disagreed with it. He did not write the issue. The issue was written by the editor, Bob Harris. But he didn't want there to be a miscarriage. He actually wanted her to have the baby, but it was not meant to be. But eventually, she will have a miscarriage. How can I kill now the one remaining bit of the last love I've ever had. No more death, Rick. It stops here. No matter what the risks, it stops here. And so she's not going to have the abortion. So we are almost done here, and these two are driving some of the folks that they had survived. And here you can see the leader taking the truck. So he's going to start making his own plans here with them. And you can see him, like I said, these are the survivors of it. So we will see them again. This is quite the long run that Peter David has. So, and he's letting them know, they think they will die, but they will not. Although they may wish they had. My new race is born. My greatest enemy is gone. My power base grows every day. All I need now is time. The end. So this essentially concludes Todd McFarlane's run. And starting next issue, we're going to see a brand new Hulk. The Mr. Fix-It era of Hulk begins with brand new penciler Jeff Purvis. I don't know.